Now we are officially live from Butte, Montana, the home site of what is going to be a fantastic matchup in NAIA football. Finally live for real in Butte, America. This is Small School Saturday. I'm your host, Kobe Manzo. I apologize to those of you that were waiting for this live stream to start, fellas. You got to kick the rust off in 2026. We got a lot of new factors, a lot of different things going on when it comes to the setup and the broadcast of today, but I would be remiss if I did not thank the wonderful folks at Montana Tech and their athletic department for making this trip possible, helping to finance our travel and get us out to, Mike, you said it when we pulled in, this is the best setup we've seen so far in Small School Saturday, man.
Absolutely it is. You got the mountains in the background, the stadium set right into the hill. I mean, you cannot beat this scene in small school football. This is a blessing to be here.
You certainly cannot. I'm Kobe Manzo. Joining me from your left, my right, Mike Schultz, Seth Howard, Jason Danley from Victory Sports Network. Thanks for making the trip, man.
Hey, baby. I love it. Get a chance to come to Butte, America, see a great football game on the NAIA side, meet you guys in person.
Seriously.
It doesn't get any better than this. It's small college
Absolutely.
football, baby.
This is a live look at Bob Green Field and Alumni Coliseum here in Butte, America, as we get things rolling. And of course, you know, I think Mike might have slept 11 hours last night. That's how comfortable the beds were at Garner Hotel.
It was really
by
good.
IHG. Shout out to those guys for taking care of us while we're in Butte here. And, you know, night one was laid back. Tonight's going to have a lot more going on, boys.
Fellas, I've been thinking about the words to describe the emotions of being here today, and it's that I'm pumped. I'm pumped to be back with you, Kobe Manzo, and you, Micah Schultz. I'm pumped to be here for the first time with you, Mr. Jason Danley. I'm pumped to be here in beautiful Butte, Montana. I'm pumped to be here at Montana Technological University, and I am pumped to be here bearing witness to what is potentially the greatest season in the history of college football, and I am pumped to be back here in Small School Saturday.
All right, we got 2.5 hours left. You got to.
I tapered it down towards the end, but I'm pumped, fellas.
Good. Let's take a look once again. Bob Green Field here at Alumni Coliseum. This is a breakdown of what we got going on in the show. Of course, we're leading this thing off. The preview, Orediggers, Spirit. We'll go and talk about the Orediggers' new looks. They've got a brand new set of Nike uniforms and some threads that are fantastic, gentlemen. They've also got a brand new locker room they just unveiled here very recently. The head coach of Montana Tech, Kyle Sampson, he joins us at 3:19 in front of what will be a phenomenal tailgate crowd, I have no doubt. Frontier Conference Commissioner Dr. Scott Crawford will join us shortly thereafter. And then we get into the top 5 D2 game. Top 5 meaning, man, number 1 versus number 4, Pitt State Ferris. We're going to dive in on that one. We have the Ottawa Spirit head coach, Riley Murphy, joining the program at 3:50. And then we'll get into closing out the first hour at 4 o'clock with some D2 game previews. When it comes to the second hour, a lot more in store. Off the Beaten Path, a great segment presented by Redline Sports at 4:15. Gavin's Fun Fact. Jabo is back in the chair. Can we get a good look at Jabo to start things off? Can we? Yeah, turn that audio off so I don't be back there. Oh, wait a minute. He got the call early. The mic isn't even on. He's not ready. You got any words to say to the people?
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah! Come on.
I mean, it sure does smell good because we have the grill smoke basically coming directly in our faces here, so we appreciate you guys for that.
Yes.
It smells
this is
absolutely wonderful.
fantastic.
Getting a
I
little
love
hungry
that.
from it. I mean, jeez.
Going through the second hour after Gavin's Fun Fact, we'll give some NAIA game previews. And then Coach Bob Green, the legend, he is not able to make it on set today. His
He wanted to be
grandson-
here, though, Kobe.
He wanted to be here so bad, but his grandson is playing in his own game, and he's got to go and support his family. We caught up, though. Seth and I did with Coach. We got a great segment on that. Seth will go on the street following there shortly thereafter and meet with some of the fine folks of Butte.
Doing my Anthony Bourdain impression, I suppose, if you will. It'll be exciting. Excited to do that.
And as if you didn't have enough, Seth, in that couple of minutes there, we'll go to Coach Howard's film room right after that, close it out with Schultz versus the Spread, a brand new segment talking lines and line breakers here on D1 Rejects. And as we get into the third hour, still a lot of things to be excited about. Levi Torgerson, one of the best players in the entire country in NAIA football, Player of the Year candidate, do a feature on him and his decision to come back and play football instead of basketball here for the Orediggers. Small school over D1 picks, potential upsets. We got some difference makers, and then our game picks with a special celebrity guest. I would say celebrity, at least in Butte, no doubt.
Big time.
We do the Digger Walk at 5:45. That is going to be electric, gentlemen, and then kickoff right at 6 o'clock. That is a look at Bob Green Field, and if you stick with us here on the Skycam, you will see, if I get my bearings right, apologize, Rust here in 2026. Check out the tailgate scene in the Emetag Club right next to us here in the parking lot in Butte, America. This is the backdrop for potentially the best game this week in all of NAIA football. We're 3 hours to kickoff, and we got a really good Oredigger contingent out, fellas.
They came out early.
I'm trying to tempo myself.
You
myself.
started
They're not
really
too
hot.
back there, though.
You started really hot,
They're
dude.
ripping already out
It's
here.
like you're channeling the spirit of Bob Green from 20 years ago
Yes,
with that energy
no
coming through. I
question
like it. I
about
like
it.
where we're going about this.
Let's start talking about this matchup. The Spirit come in ranked in the top 25, but they got to go to number 5, Montana Tech. There's a lot of things to be excited about when you talk about the Orediggers, but I think we can show them off maybe in a little bit more of a flashy way to start 2026. And this is a look at the Orediggers from Montana Tech. Kyle Sampson and this team, they went 12-1 last year through an undefeated regular season that featured wins over 4 top 25 programs. They come into the national preseason ranked number 5 in the nation, but the Orediggers, they have larger aspirations coming into 2026. A Small School Saturday show today showing that off. Their offense last year, 37 points per game, very explosive on that side of the ball. These are some of the guys that are wanted in that Orediger offense, like Jarrett Wilson and Torgerson and other big-time weapons on the outside. You look at the offensive line, guys like Jake and Thomas returning for that front 5. It makes this offense so dynamic and physical. And then you look at it a little bit more big picture. Coach Kyle Sampson, he has dominated year 6 under his tutelage of this program. It's safe to say there's a lot more in store. 3 consecutive playoff trips for this program, and that record over that span speaks for itself. You add to the mix some notable transfers from big-time programs, and what you have is a recipe for success for Montana Tech and the Orediggers heading into 2026. How about a way to start things off? I love that, man.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, Montana Tech's got such a great program coming back, so many returning starters, and a team that played so well last year during the regular season. We were talking national championship contender. They run into a buzzsaw in the postseason. It doesn't happen. They're still hungry, and we've heard Coach Sampson talk about this a lot in the offseason. 2025 was great. We're putting it behind us. This is the 2026 team, and they are going for that national championship. They're one of the contenders at the NAIA level.
They certainly are, and I think who better, to talk about this program than some of the players, and having the privilege to speak with these players before we get into these games is one of my favorite things on this broadcast. Let's cut to and hear from some of the guys from Montana Tech.
We're proud of what we did last year, but we were trying to win a national championship last year, and we're going into this year just as hungry.
We want people to be scared of how physical the defense is, and especially other teams. When other teams turn on the film, we want them to not want to play us. We want them to be scared to step on the field with us because we're such a physical defense.
Just being physical up front, that's where it all starts with the big guys on the whole line. So being physical, that's kind of what we pride ourselves on, is the physicality. So just bringing that straight from the jump, and it's week 1, so some things are going to be weird, but you just got to come out on top. The big thing we talk about here is family. The thing that we take the most pride in as a team is being a team that plays together.
Having a team full of Montana boys definitely brings some extra camaraderie to our team. We all really look out for each other, and all being from Montana, we all have a chip on our shoulder because it's not a big state. There's not a ton of coverage, so definitely adds that chip on the shoulder and makes us all go play hard.
Well, you can tell, Kellen, we're bringing the coverage today, baby. I love talking with those guys. Had a chance to connect with a few of them, and you flip the script over an Ottawa, Arizona team that is retooling some key pieces under second-year head coach Riley Murphy. They're coming in today with the massive stack of chips on their shoulder, gentlemen, trying to prove to everyone they are not the sleeper the nation pretends they are.
Like you said, we came off a good year last year, and we're coming back this year, almost all the same personnel. We got a lot of chemistry. We're just stone cold. That's how we operate. We all got a common goal, and we also know that we have a high expectation because of what we did last year.
But I say this group is relentless. If I had to explain it to anybody that never seen this, relentless. We don't go off the scoreboard. We just go do our things.
I think there's a lot of dominance and violence off the football in the trenches. We got a lot of violent guys. We're fast now. We got strong over the summer.
We're really bonded this year. I feel like we're connected, and I think we're a little hungry this year. Not snubbed, but left out of the playoffs. We're ready to come for it all this year.
We got weapons everywhere. O-line, receiver-wise, quarterback-wise, running back-wise. We got weapons everywhere.
We got our objective of whoever right here, it's going on.
You could feel some of the confidence that these guys are going to be playing with today. They're going to come into a very hostile environment here in the Coliseum. And I know we're going really quickly through some of these, so we had a little bit of a delayed start, so I apologize for that. But we got to get to all this great content before we welcome Coach Sampson up to the desk. And talking about his Orediggers, fellas, they unveiled some fantastic new looks just recently. New threads from Nike for the Orediggers. And this is 4 new combos. This is last season and for this year. And prior to this year, they were in Under Armour. This make the switch over to Nike this year. The green jersey and silver pants combo, that's a throwback to the Bob Green era. They'll be wearing the orange ones today for the annual Copper game. A lot of things to be excited about for this group, one of which being this new locker room unveiling that happened so recently within this program, elevating their space to one of the best in the entire country. Just another way Butte has shown the support for this program and these incredible athletes. Shout out to their booster clubs situated right next to us here in the tailgate lot. A lot of things to be excited about here for the Orediggers, and the main reason for that, guys, is the man that's standing next to the set right now. Welcoming onto the set, it's the head coach of Montana Tech Orediggers, Coach Kyle Sampson.
Yes, sir.
There he is, baby.
Oh, look at
There we go. There we go. Tech football represented here.
For your crew guys.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that so much.
It's
Coach,
excellent.
You can take a seat right here. We'll get you situated with a headset. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Let's kick this thing off, huh? There we go. We're in business. Give me a quick sound check, Coach. How we doing?
Hello.
You sound wonderful.
Sounding great.
There's an aura about you right now. I feel it. I feel it.
We all just elevated a little bit.
I
Your
know.
energy went up.
I stood up straight when Coach got on the set over here, man. We are very appreciative. One, for you having us out. Two, of course, for you joining us live here. I think it's going to be an incredible atmosphere, an awesome environment. What can you say about this group that has shown you that much support? This is not, you're not a spring chicken anymore when it comes to Butte, but these guys have shown you, I'm sure, so much love over the couple of years.
Yeah, I got here in 2019. Was hired here as an assistant coach. And it's been the best move of our lives, my wife and our 4 kids. And Butte has been amazing to us and our family, and it's home. It's home, and a great place to live and raise kids, and a great place to be a part of a great university and a great town that takes a ton of pride in athletics and just being good people.
And you're a Montana man through and through. You were recruited by the great Bob Green himself, and you turned him down.
Yeah, that's right. But I ended up playing for my dad, so that's the only way. But yeah, Coach Green was in my my living room back in the day, and when I was a junior in high school, and he's been a huge part of my life since I came here to Butte, and a big mentor to me.
You're only the 3rd head coach of this program in the last 3 decades. People just take this job and can't imagine going anywhere else.
Yeah, it's a special place, and following in some great footsteps with Coach Green and Coach Morrell. It's a special place to be, and it starts at the top. We got a great administration. I work for the best athletic director in the country, and pretty cool that you get to work for people that you call your best friends. Amen. That's pretty awesome.
That is awesome. Seth, what do you got?
Coach, spent some time down in the historic Uptown, and seeing the tailgate, knowing what the Digger Walk's all about. I can't imagine it's all that hard to recruit to a place like this. Do you get a bunch of instant commits when you walk them through the Digger Walk, or what is it like recruiting to a place like this? I can't imagine what it is like for you.
Yeah, it's special. And it's gonna be awesome here in a couple hours when there's 5,000 people in this tailgate. But
yes, sir.
The recruiting part of it's a big deal. I'm a big believer you recruit, people, and people want to come because of the people. I think we've got some great facilities for our level, but the experience they get to have on game day for this level is pretty second to none. And kids want to play in front of a huge crowd and people that support them. And I know when we got some recruits here tonight, and they're gonna have a great time.
You talk about the chance to go play for your dad at MSU Northern. You then, of course, go on to eventually take over the play calling responsibilities there. Share a sideline with him and coach with him. What are you most thankful for about that experience, and what part of that do you try and replicate with your old children? Even though I think they're right here, they're not sharing a sideline with you or a headset yet. What kind of parts of that
raising
experience?
them on a depth chart, like Coach Green?
What kind of parts of that experience do you hope to replicate with these guys as they come up through the ranks?
Yeah, definitely. I was pretty fortunate. I grew up in a coaching family. Not many people can say they played for their dad in high school and then in college.
Man.
And just the way that worked out, where after I got done playing for him in high school, I went to the University of Montana for a year, and then he got the job up there, and I transferred and played for him, and they got to coach for him for 7 years. But I wouldn't be here today without my dad. He taught me so many things, or has taught me so many things. You know, he's going to be here tonight. Was pretty special. He lives here in Butte. He lives a couple blocks from our house, and takes care of our grandkids and watches our little 2-year-old, him and my mom, 3 days a week. And but you know, just a tremendous mentor. You know, he's one of my best friends in the world, and to be able to share these moments with him, he'll be on the sideline tonight with us. It's pretty cool.
That is special. That is incredibly special, man. And we'll get them up here very shortly. Don't worry about that. Jason, what do you got for
Coach? You've got a ton of history in this conference. I mean, you and I go back
Jason.
to win back in 05, knocking off the #1 team in the country, you know, really turning the MSU Northern program around as a player, contributing to it as a coach. You've had an opportunity, obviously, to coach here. Your grandfather coached at Carroll College back in the day. Like, you're a Frontier Conference regular. And what can you, when you look at the conference, what do you think has really propelled this conference forward in the last 10 to 15 years from the time that you went from player to assistant coach to head coach? What makes it so special now?
Yeah, I think I think a lot of it's pride, just the pride in the schools in this conference, the people. I think there's great coaches and great players, you know, especially like, you know, the core of our conference has been in Montana, and now it's grown tremendously to, you know, we've got 15 teams coming in now. And I really think it's just the people and the pride they have in football. Football is a big deal, especially small college football in this area.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, we don't have the NFL teams in our state, but it makes it a ton of fun. And I got to give a big shout out to Jason. I got to know Jason when I was a player at Northern in 04, 05, and 06. And, you know, one of my best friends when he was playing came down with cancer, and Jason was a huge part of me spreading the word. We got some donations, and his VSN network helped us raise a ton of money for Donnie way back in the day. And man, I'll never forget that. I appreciate the heck out of you for that.
I absolutely love it.
Anytime
Anytime that we can help out, you know, it's a brotherhood. You play small college football. Like, I was just in Chicago this week for work, ran into a guy that went to school at St. Xavier, and it's instantly like you get this like, oh, you're an NAIA guy. Let's talk. Like, we could do this for 3 hours. Yeah, but I absolutely love it. And I appreciate the kind words, Coach. Do it for any player in the NAIA, and I'm glad it was Donnie, such a tremendous young man and tremendous person. Now, you guys aren't young men anymore.
Yeah,
we're getting old, the same age.
Don't say
each other.
You guys are a bunch of young bucks out here.
That's great. Mike, what do you got for Coach?
Coach, I want to transition to some guys in the field, and we're going to talk a lot today about Levi and Jarrett. I want to go to an unsung hero. You told us in the production meeting you brought in a running back from a school that shut down completely. He comes all the way across the country. You're taking a chance on him. He's taking a big chance on you coming out to Montana.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about Jamal? What do you expect from Jamal out there today?
Yeah, you know, he's a great young man, and you know, it was awesome to get him up here on his visit. And an unfortunate situation where, you know, his school just shut down in the spring, and you know, we reached out to him and got him out here for a visit, and he loved it out here in Butte, and we've loved having him here. And yeah, really excited to see him this year for Montana Tech.
100%, man. This tailgate is only getting started, right? I mean, we're still multiple hours away from kickoff, and you can see that this group is starting to fill up right behind us. What is the expectation level? The Copper game is something that I think is coveted in these parts. How do you describe that environment and atmosphere to someone who's never experienced it?
Yeah, I would just say it's electric. It's you know, one of the best games of the year for us. It's the first game, which Barry's excited about. Thursday night in Butte, America. Everybody's excited and got that itch to get back to football, and obviously a tremendous game with a big time opponent for us. And it's going to be a ton of fun, and the energy in this stadium and this tailgate tonight is this is why you play and coach, is for the opportunities you get to do this, right? We work so hard, you know, 9 months out of the year where you're not playing and coaching, and this is what's fun, and we're sure looking forward to it.
I love that, man. You hear Kellen and Christian, some of those guys talk about this defense, and Kellen said, we want people to watch the film and not even want to take the field against us because the way we show our physicality. How have they shown that through the first couple weeks of preseason and now into game week?
Definitely. You know, I think that it starts with Coach Allen, our defensive coordinator, and our defensive staff, Coach Anderson, Coach Torgerson, and Coach LaProuse. They do a tremendous job. You know, great leaders, guys that have been with me for a long time. But our leaders on defense, as you mentioned, you know, Kellen Beller, Christian Hansen, Caleb Novak, you know, just they play with an edge, but they're very smart. They understand the game. They got a high football IQ. And to me, you know, you guys know this, playing defense is about playing together and getting 11 guys to the football, and then just having an edge and also great communication. You got to be able to communicate. We know we've got a great challenge tonight with a great offense in Ottawa, and, you know, we just got to get lined up and play fast.
Yes, sir. A lot of question marks on that side of the ball, so it'll be interesting to see how they respond to that. What else you guys got for Coach?
Coach, undefeated regular season last year, had another great season the year before that, but you learn each and every year. You had, like I said, you had the undefeated regular season last year, didn't go the way you wanted it to in the postseason. So you live, you learn. What did this team learn in the offseason about last year that they're going to correct this year to try to take it to the next level?
Yeah, definitely, Jason. I think that, something that, we're very proud of what we did last year. But, the whole offseason was about not being satisfied, not getting complacent. It was a tremendous year with tremendous people, and you always have those memories. But that's exciting about this year. It's a brand new team. It's a 2026. We got a lot of guys back, but at the same time, we got to create our own identity. I think the biggest thing for us is, not expecting things to happen just because they did last year. We got to go back to our identity, our culture, and to me, it just comes down to our physical and mental toughness, and being the closest knit team we can be. Talent will get you so far, but that togetherness and that brotherhood that you got to build throughout 9 months, throughout a summer, throughout a fall camp, to me, that's what wins those close games. And I think we've got a great start of that, but obviously we got to put that all together tonight.
Yes, sir. I love that. What can you tell me about the mantra you guys are running with this year? Finish the mission. It felt like you accomplished a lot of the goals you set out for yourself, most likely every season. There was one notably off that list. What can you tell me about how you're going to finish the mission this fall?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our first one this year is to win our first game. It's always that.
Yes, sir.
And that's a big one tonight. We got a heck of a challenge, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We want to win our conference, and that's a tough challenge because I believe this is one of the best conferences, if not the best in the NAIA. We want to make sure that we get an opportunity to just compete in the playoffs. I think if you get a chance in there, then you got a shot. And our ultimate goal is to win a national title. And that's not something we're shying away from. It's a heck of a challenge. But to me, if you're going to set a goal, you want to reach to be the best. And we know that's a heck of a goal, but I believe we got the people to do that. But right now, you guys know this. It's a one-game season, and we got a great challenge tonight.
It's fun. The interesting thing about the Frontier Conference is it feels like the conference keeps raising its own floor. For example, even you look at a team like Mayville, they continue to get better and better and better. Like I just think that's it. That is, to your point, what makes this conference even better every single year.
You kind of have Comet colors on today.
That's controversial.
Shout out Rockies, River Falls guy.
He's got a promo.
Mayville State and Dakota State over here, man.
I wanted to be neutral of this specific matchup, but we'll leave the picks till later. Right?
That's all right. Rocky's a great dude. He's one of my good friends in coaching for sure.
I love that.
Rocky's getting one here. He'll love this.
Before we get you out of here, can we get your boys up here?
Yeah, so I got Bo, my son Bo, and his best buddy Jet, who's Coach LaProuse's son.
Bo and Jet, get up here. Let's hear my boys.
These guys are the biggest Digger fans.
Let's go, fellas.
They're with us all the time, and they travel on the road with us, and it's pretty special when you got your own son, and I've got 3 other kids, and then Jet, who's Bo's best buddy, who's Coach LaProuse's son.
Yeah.
When you get to do these things, and you think about the special moments in life, it's the impact that we can have on young kids, and for me as a coach's kid, my whole life to be able to share this job with my kids and their buddies. You guys will see in the Digger Walk tonight. We'll have 25 or 30 little kids.
Are you guys leading the way tonight?
They'll be leading us.
Yeah. Cool. I think you're coming right behind us. Right over here. That is going to be awesome, man.
Yeah,
sweet. Awesome.
Definitely.
Coach.
Hey, I appreciate
you
so
guys. Much. Absolutely. I really appreciate you fellas. Hey, I'm looking forward. I am looking forward to see you guys lead the way tonight. We got to bring some juice.
Heck yeah.
We got to bring some juice. This is going to be great.
I love it. I appreciate you guys.
Awesome.
Of course.
Yep. Thanks a lot.
Head coach of Montana Tech, Kyle Sampson. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys believing in us coming here tonight.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
No, just absolutely one of the true class individuals in NAIA football and NAIA coaching.
Thank you.
Like I talked about with Coach here, we've known one another for a tremendously long period of time.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome to watch his career go the way that it has, and looking forward to just seeing things continue here at
And
Tech.
we talked about the depth and the floor in the Frontier Conference, and I think joining us probably a man that is better qualified than any other to talk Frontier. That, of course, is the man himself, the Frontier Conference Commissioner, Dr. Scott Crawford. What's going on?
How are you, sir? Very nice to meet you.
More gifts?
Oh, my gosh.
You are the man.
I didn't mean to show up, Coach, but I brought you hats and I brought you golf towels.
Oh, even better.
I need one in a bad way. A lot of time in the sand for myself.
Yeah, Seth used that big time. So she's wearing that cowboy outfit.
There we go. Just keep piling all the gifts in front of me, and they may get one.
This is just too good, man. Thank you very much.
That is phenomenal. I don't know what we did to deserve all the goodies here today on Small School Saturday, but I'm not complaining. We'll get you right over here when you're ready to go. Yeah, come on over.
Look at this.
They're branded up. Jason, if you can hold up one of the towels for the camera.
Little branded
Gavin,
up
let's see
Frontier
this.
Conference
Oh, look at
towels
that.
That is
there.
phenomenal.
That is tremendous right
That'll
there.
take a couple strokes off your golf game, I think. I think that towel right there is, they might break 100 with that.
I need all the help I can get.
Maybe we can give a little plug to Universal Awards for
Happy
doing
There you
those
go.
for us.
Shout
so.
out to them. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We are so privileged.
Good to see
have
you.
join us today, man. That is awesome. I am. You know what? I'm surprised at the fit. I respect the outfit because I know I'm going through it right now. This heat is no joke. How we holding up so far?
Well, I was waiting for the sound check so I could say, like, welcome to Butte, America.
Let's go! Yes, sir.
Man, you took this role. You go back to September of 2023, coming over from the KCAC, right, where you had the same position for 16 years as their commissioner, a very big portion of your life. I know getting back to the Northwest was important to you, an Idaho native. What was so appealing about leading this conference in particular?
Well, this is, in my opinion, the best conference in the NAIA.
Yes, sir.
And so have the opportunity to be at the lead of that conference is quite a privilege. And so when that came open, you know, my predecessor, great man, Kent Paulson, just when he decided he was done and it was time for him to move on, I'm just glad I had an opportunity to step in and take us to some greater heights.
That is awesome. And this is not your first trip to Butte and Montana Tech, I have to imagine.
Butte's the closest trip for me in the conference, so I've been here quite a bit.
There you go. And we won't tell the folks where you're heading after this. But, but what can you say and what have you come to associate with the game day atmosphere and environment here in Butte?
Well, I think you're going to see an environment where there might be more people out here in the tailgate area than are in the stadium for the game potentially.
Wow.
And I don't mean to light the fire, but I guess I'll do a little bit. I was told that certain individuals from the opponent were not real happy when they went to College of Idaho because of the tailgate environment. If they thought that was crazy, they are really in for something special tonight.
This is it right here. That's a look at Bob Greenfield. You see we've got a good bit of wind here as that flag is ripping, but big time matchup coming up tonight. You talk about the Frontier Conference and what this means for the conference. Last year, you brought in 5 new football playing members, which is a very, very significant addition to the conference. Most of them coming from the Lake North Star Athletic Association. Does something like that really just fall into your lap, or is that something where these teams are looking for new homes, you take advantage?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that came into play that my job was to finish the deal.
Yes, sir.
You know, there was quite a bit of work that was done prior to me coming in and doing that. However, you still have to finish the job, right? And for us to have brought in the quality programs like Dickinson State, Dakota State, Mayville, Valley City, and I'm probably going to leave somebody else. I'll get in big trouble here. But then we've also had Bismarck State announce that they're going to start football.
Yes, sir. Huge.
You know, it's just tremendous for us to be able to do that. I was part of the process to bring Simpson out of Redding, California in as well, and just really grateful for that opportunity and to see. You know, Jason's been doing this a lot longer than I have when it comes to focusing on football. But I think there was a day and age not too long ago where we were about 80 programs in NAIA football. And I think with Bismarck State, we're now at 95, I believe. So I'm excited that we're going to be approaching 100 NAIA programs here not too far in the future.
In a day and age where that is not a given, you see schools closing their doors. Feels like every couple of months we get news that a new school or previous school will be done. And you talk about some of those additions. Our guy, Rocky from over at Mayville State, when it was announced that they would be joining the conference.
Athletic director and play caller and head coach, I will say that.
There we go.
And probably soon to be mayor of Mayville. The guy, they just love Rocky over there, and I don't know how they're ever going to lose him. So
that is a very, very good point. Well, what he said when he talked about joining the conference, he said, man, this is the SEC of NAIA football. And well, I'm more of a Big Ten type of cat myself. What kind of reflection do you think that shows from what was once an outsider's opinion of this conference?
Well, you know, you do have to go back, and there'll be some chatter here, but, you know, Carroll College and those folks 20, 25 years ago, they really set the table for the Frontier Conference.
Scott Duck.
But what's happened is everyone else has risen to the occasion, right? And so when you know that old adage of the rising tide will lift all ships, and so we've had that rising tide, and now we have these other schools that are really committing to not only football but their entire athletic department, and it's made a very positive change for us.
Absolutely.
Dr. Crawford, you and I go back many years, and I want to give Scott his kudos here. You know, when he took over as the commissioner of the KCAC, you know, this was a league that wasn't playing spring football. They weren't practicing spring football. They were barely practicing just in T-shirts and shorts. And in his time there, he went from the KCAC, at least in terms of football, just kind of being this, well, they got football, but they're not going to do anything in the postseason, to a league that had teams that were competitive nationally, and getting all of the schools to rally around that. It takes the strength of the commissioner to do that. So kudos to you for getting the KCAC to where it was, but then now taking on the challenge of a Frontier Conference that's very established, has some of the best programs in NAIA football and NAIA athletics across the board. So as a commissioner, what's the next big challenge for you that you've got to do to take the Frontier Conference to the next level?
Well, I want to add one more variable to what you described about the KCAC. Not only did we not have spring football, but we only were able to have 25 hours of contact before September 1,
Yes.
which was really challenging, right? And so we got to a point where, you know, it takes time. And my job as commissioner sometimes is to get out of the way, sometimes it's to get out in front and lead, sometimes it's just to say, why are we doing this and what do we need to do differently? What do we need to be doing better? And so I like the phrase that we are the SEC or the Big Ten of NAIA, but what I want to be known for is I want to be the premier league of the NAIA when it comes to football.
Love that.
And we have to do a lot of things. And one of them is we need to get back to the tradition of winning national titles. You know, we have done quite a bit of this in the last 20, 25 years, but we have a bit of a dry spell right now. And I think this is a really good year where I'm not putting any pressure on any of our schools, but we have teams that have the capability, the talent, and the commitment to make that happen.
I love that. And you've made a career for yourself at the NAIA level, which is very admirable. I want to know, from your perspective, what is something that might be a misconception or a misnomer that people on the outside don't understand about the broader landscape of NAIA athletics?
Yeah, that's a great opportunity to really pitch what the NAIA does. And so I think, you know, when I was getting started back with the Mid-South Conference, doing my internship with them, I was going to grad school at Louisville. And I think the conception was the NAIA was this maverick Wild West league where you could do whatever you wanted and there were no rules. Yeah. And if you got mad, you could shoot somebody and
everybody's juicing, coach. We hear that too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my first year in the KCAC, I got notice from the national office that another league close by to the KCAC, I won't say what league that is, but they were complaining that we now had some kind of an advantage. And Jason knows full well we had
zero advantage
over that league, you know. But this idea that we were this maverick NAIA and that we were this wild, wild west, nothing could be further from the truth. And so it's a shameless plug, but Jim Carr, his national office staff, we've been consistent. We've been methodical as an association. Academics, the rigor, all these things matter. And we are not a maverick league. We are a league that rivals what NCAA Division II, NCAA Division III is doing, not only athletically, but academically. And I'm really proud of that.
I love that, man. Play the right way, right?
Play the right way.
That's the standard.
The right way to play.
There we go. That's why you're in charge and not me. I just sit up here and talking to the microphone, man. But it's a very unique time for NAIA athletics as a whole, because I feel that you guys as a governing body have a chance that you haven't had in a long time to really differentiate yourself from some of your other counterparts, we'll say, at the NCAA level.
Well, you know, we thought that we would maybe have an opportunity to get out ahead of this 5 seasons of competition. Yeah. We've been talking about this for a very, very long time, and I get that there's difficulties in that. I'm a little disappointed personally and professionally that we didn't get ahead of this before the NCAA Division I and D2, but we have an opportunity here, and it's right in front of us right now to make this right, and for us to be able to say that we're doing some of the very same things that the NCAA is doing and is the right thing, in my opinion, for student athletes.
100%. Anything else for him before we
let Doctor, Coach, you're the coach of the Frontier, we'll say that. But Coach, when you think about the Frontier, there's naturally going to be some good teams left out of the playoffs, and there's some other really good conferences that leave good teams out of the playoffs. Is there ever going to be a potential for a bowl game between another conference, or is that in the works, or what can you say about anything of that nature?
So having tried to make that happen in the KCAC, either between 2 KCAC teams or between a KCAC and a Heart of America or a GPAC school.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as you might think it is.
Right.
Jason
As a guy that also tried to do it 20 years ago, it is not as easy as just saying, hey, get these two teams to play.
Yeah.
There's a big list.
You have to get permission from the NAIA about a year in advance. And there's things that you need to do. I would actually rather, and I'm going to get myself in really big trouble here.
This is why we do this show.
What I would rather see is us get to 100 teams in the association.
Yes.
Get our postseason expanded to 24 teams.
Okay.
And really clean up our bracket. You know, I keep saying I'm going to get myself in hot water. I shouldn't come on these programs, but you know, I really did not like watching College of Idaho and Montana Tech having to play so early. You know, if it's for a national title, then so be it. You know, and I'm going to win no matter what happens there. But, you know,
That's a great point.
But it was a little challenging. But we have to be respectful of the finances of things. We need to be respectful of all the different commitments that we have. But I would love to see us get to 24 teams, see those, you know, see this, and just make that work so we could have a much cleaner bracket. Maybe then maybe I'll be more likely to go to a straight bracket at that point in time. You know, it remains to be seen. But you know, I'm not the most political guy. I'm going to say sometimes the wrong things, but that's where I would rather see us than maybe a bowl game, possibly. But doesn't mean we couldn't explore that.
Certainly. Yeah. Let's just go to the D3 and put every 40 teams in there, Coach.
Yes.
Well,
I love it.
And I'm actually going to throw one more piece out there. I would love to see us figure out our regular season schedule that we could actually have a conference championship game.
Wow.
That would be fun.
I think we might have more fans turn out for that than even a playoff game if we could
agree.
have a national a conference championship.
Well, there's a lot more toughness going around, I think, than maybe some other areas, especially in Butte America.
Well, there's toughness all throughout the Frontier Conference.
Great answer. Thank you for that answer. He's trying to set you up.
Well,
Coach, that's kind of my job.
Well, and you're wearing this Dakota State blue, but if you really want to see, go watch Coach Anderson's our media day we did with Coach Anderson. He was very blunt about NAIA postseason and being left out, and I feel for him. My goal is to get as many teams into the NAIA postseason as possible, and I hope that we can make that happen this year. Get 4, but 3 is always a good number too.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Scott Crawford, of the Frontier Conference Commissioner.
Appreciate it, guys.
Excellent. You know, Scott and I could probably sit down for about 2 hours after the show and talk politics of the NAIA, and we would enjoy it, and everybody else around us would just get that bored headache of like, oh my God, they're still talking about it, aren't they?
We're going to get to a break, but stick around. On the other side, we've got the first set of D2 game previews of 2026 with a big-time matchup happening down in the jungle. We'll also break into the first jersey patch sponsor in all of Division II football. That is a live look at Bob Green Field and Alumni Coliseum here in Butte, Montana. We're back on Small School Saturday ahead of a top 25 matchup in the NAIA. But gentlemen, it is time to go over and talk about the Division II landscape. The biggest matchup, undoubtedly, in the entire nation in D2 football. That's taking place in the jungle down at Pitt State. Bulldogs making the trip down to Kansas. This is a clash of top 5 programs. You see it right there. That series currently tied at 1-1 week 0. Since that's been added on in 2024, that has given the opportunity for national powerhouse programs like this to go out and schedule these type of contests. The home team is 2-0. The Bulldogs looking to change that up today, or tonight rather, a 7 o'clock central kickoff in Kearney Smith Stadium. This is the biggest game in the country this week at the D2 level.
Well, the best part about these two teams is we're going to find out what you are real fast. Like there's no waiting around. There's no playing some stinker. There's no playing like we're going to find out who you are right away. And the best part about this, like, it's not like they're playing a team that Ferris has rolled every single time.
No.
It's the last team that beat them. Yes. Like, how exciting of a week 0 matchup, week 1 for these teams specifically. But, like, I mean, the quarterback situation, we'll talk about that, but the quarterback situation is fun. Like, they have to essentially reload every single year because they lose guys to the transfer portal. Talk about guys like Trinidad Chambliss, who's going to start again here for the Ole Miss Rebels. Like,
he can mess around and win a Heisman.
That's the thing. Like, that's how good this team is. And Tony Anise had him on. We've had him on the pod, have him on my show as well. And he's like, I don't know. We'll just figure it out and win another natty. So their opportunity to go 5 for 6. Someone's got to knock them off, right? Like, even if they lose this game, they still got a chance.
They certainly do. The Bulldogs, you allude to it. They've won 30 straight games dating back to 2024. The team that beat them was Pittsburgh State. That was the last loss for this Ferris State team. They've made 5 national championship game appearances in the last 7 seasons. They've won 4 of the last 5 D2 national titles. Let's dive into the quarterback situation a little bit. Wyatt Bauer, Chase Carter, 2 guys that Coach Anise said they're both starters. It's 1A and 1B. 2 guys that bring a little bit different skill sets to the table. We have a chance now to have 2 fully different offensive units rotate onto the field for Ferris State football this year. We've seen them go 10 deep with the offensive line and make full line changes when that group comes on and off. When he talked to Coach Anise and talked about how he's going to handle that, he's told us, he said, I have no idea. Was he sandbagging for us?
Yes,
no
he was,
doubt.
Kobe. He is
No doubt.
sandbagging. I love you, Coach Anise, but dang, you're totally sandbagging. You're too with it. You're too clued in. You know too much to be saying, I don't know. Like, yes, you know, Coach. We love you for that.
We certainly do. But on Pitt State's side of the ball, right, they have a lot of things to be really excited about. Coach Tom Anthony has come in and kept things the status quo down in Pittsburgh, Kansas. They have a lot of things to be really excited about on the offensive side of the ball, but defensively, I think is actually where they're going to be even more tested, because if you let Ferris State and that option offense, if you let them stay on the field, things are going to get really ugly. So for me, it's about very timely. Of course, third down is going to be huge, and that's not anything groundbreaking to any of you guys, but it's about very timely defense and a couple big momentum plays on your home field.
Neither one of these teams want to get into a shootout. Like whoever can, I mean, I know this is like coaching cliche, but whoever can control the clock and also keep the other offense off the field, like, you're probably going to be pretty happy with yourself today. You want to end the ball game with the ball, essentially.
Well, I think so many teams have to play perfect football to beat Ferris State.
Right.
There's half that league has to play perfect to beat Ferris State. Pittsburgh doesn't have to do that.
No, they do not.
Just don't make any stupid mistakes. Don't give them a free turnover. Don't give them a free special teams mistake. They don't have to play perfect. They know how to beat them. This game is, Ferris doesn't have a gimme here, which they got a lot of those this year.
Another D2 game we got to get into in preview, gentlemen, is Western Colorado going on the road to West Texas A&M. It's a Western Colorado team in the RMAC that has really surged to the upper part of the conference. They get themselves a big-time test on the road in what might be the best stadium in all of D2 football.
Well, the thing about 48-13 over the last 5 seasons. They're 4 double-digit seasons and 5 playoff wins, or playoff appearances, sorry. The biggest storyline for these guys is, what are they going to do without the Harlan Hill finalist, the All-American, the record-setting quarterback, Drew Nash? Now, they're not completely without him. He jumped on the staff as the tight ends coach for the fellas. Like,
awesome.
So that is the question mark. What are they going to be on offense without him? Josiah Royce, appears to be that starting quarterback this year for the Mountaineers, considering he's played 3 seasons. Not a lot of he doesn't have a ton of attempts, but he's played in a lot of games because they've been up in a lot of situations.
I will tell you, though, this West Texas team, they're 7-3 all time. I go back to history in this matchup. This is a matchup that dates back to 1938. West Texas has also won the last 3 meetings when these teams come together and clash. There's a lot of things that are still up in the air for this squad. If you want to stay at the quarterback
And
position,
there she
oh
goes.
my goodness, we might have a tornado in view.
Small wind
Oh,
gust.
This is how we do it here in
Just
Butte,
a little
America,
breezy.
baby. This is how we do it in Butte, America, where there's a tornado potentially coming right up on
Thank
us.
God we got a cowboy here.
This is yeah.
This is unreal.
I might have to jump on. Look at that.
It's
smoke
just a
coming
little,
right up.
just a little breeze, fellas. What do
Yes, sir. Well, hey,
Oh,
you know what?
This is the perfect time for Coach to come on the show here.
He's a little ahead of the schedule, but joining us now live is the head coach from Ottawa, Arizona, coming here live on Small School Saturday.
Look at this.
It is the man himself leading the spirit. Welcome to the set, Coach Riley Murphy. Coach.
It's like a haboob from Phoenix just rolled off the mountain, and its name is Riley Murphy.
What did you bring with you, Coach?
Brought a little monsoon.
Coach, did you
Little
bring
desert
this
monsoon,
win?
baby.
Guys, look over this shoulder over here on the screen here. There's some good stuff, but we'll continue to roll here.
Well, Coach Murphy hasn't seen this for a while. They call this rain, Coach.
Yeah. No,
It's been a minute since you guys have seen it in the greater Phoenix area.
You're right. Well, we get those monsoons, though. Now, don't forget about
is
that.
true.
Yeah,
Coach, we are pumped to have you on here. And
absolutely.
When I talk with the guys, you want to stay on that weather deal. I talked with Justice and some of them about. I was just curious about the practice schedule. Right down there, you're getting up to 115 degrees. He told me, he's like, man, we're trying to get in at practices at 6 a.m. It's already 90 to 100 degrees. That's a real thing you got to navigate with this group.
100%. Yeah, I mean, that's something that just adds to hopefully our culture, our strength, and I mean, there's multiple practices. We're 100 plus, and we love the heat. It forges us, as one.
Yes, it definitely does. And when you talk to that group with Justice and Marcus and Corey and that group, Xander, go down the list there, something that I loved from them was their confidence. They didn't shy away from anything talking about this matchup. They know the tall task that they have and coming in to a hostile environment. They've got swagger and moxie coming into this one. I love that for them. How do you cultivate that as a coach and then manage it?
Yeah, I think part of it is like what we got on this hat right here. What we gave to you guys. You can't hide an orange.
So
all right?
close up
Can't
on that
hide
bad
an
boy
orange.
right there.
And that's kind of our mantra. That's what we want. We want to be men in the arena. And that goes back to the Theodore Roosevelt speech that we talked to our team about, walking the walk and walking in the light. And those are the things that we're trying to do on a daily basis. And when you live like that, and that's the mantra that you have, I feel that it breeds that confidence. So
we just saw a statue of Chetty, I believe, when we were pulling up to the stadium.
No
I want
way.
to say, and then if
Let's
I remember
go.
correctly, he's also the guy that said, "Speak softly and carry a big stick."
Yeah, he did. And but you're 100% though. I think that our guys are confident, but they also are not overlooking our opponent. We have a lot of respect for what this team is, and how cool of an environment. How lucky are we? Like, I woke up this morning and went for actually found the biggest mountain in town and ran it.
You did? Damn.
I did.
Let's go,
and
man.
that's how we get this thing started. And I think that's just just that overwhelming gratitude I have of being here, and as you guys know, and him as well, covering NAIA, and it's just, this game will take you places. I've coached games in the Everglades and the plains of Kansas, and now we're here in Montana, and we get to go do something we love. So that's exactly what we're shooting for.
I love that. Mike, what do you got for Coach?
Well, Coach, your defense was probably one of the most underappreciated units in all of NAIA.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate this unit, going back, watching some of the stuff they did last year. On this game specifically tonight, what are some of the keys you're telling your defense that if we do this, we can win tonight's game?
Absolutely. I think they do such a good job of, mixing up what they do. Kind of like, I wouldn't say just smoke and mirrors, but, they have a lot of different shifts, motions, and those type of things. So for us, I think it's, what I told our team is they've never had struggle, especially defensive, playing with passion.
Yeah.
That is something that from the day one I got here, now it's just, being mentally strong. I know we can play our hardest for the whole game, but can you say mentally strong for the whole game? And those are the things that I think that we definitely would be the biggest challenge. I said to them, anything that comes out of your mouth, anything, any hit that you lay, the thing that I think will shock them or scare them the most is the first time they do something that they've been working on all summer, and we do our job and we shut it down. So that's a challenge. Easier said than done, but that's really been the challenge to my guys. And so I think that's what we've got to focus on tonight is, be us, do us, and be together.
And one thing, as someone who's gone through a bunch of fall camps and you in your shoes, you know defense usually wins early on. Defense
sir.
gets caught up to speed a lot faster. I want to know from that perspective, how has that defensive unit accelerated maybe the growth process of the other side of the ball where you have a lot of new pieces that are trying to learn how to be congruent and gel with another?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's something, you nailed it on the head. I told our offense multiple times throughout camp, I said, I'm very confident that our defense is one of the best in the country. And when we can go head to head with them on a daily basis and have our successes, and when we do have our failures, we can feel confident that we're doing it against a group that potentially could be one of the better ones in the country. So, it's the whole iron sharpens iron thing.
I love that. Jason, what do you got for Coach?
Coach, 8-1 last season, have lost the final week of the season. Louisiana Christian ends up keeping you out of the NAIA Championship Series. I won't go down that road. I had my opinion on it. But with that said, and I said the same thing to Coach Sampson when he was up here, things didn't end the way you wanted it to last year. You turned the tide to 2026. What's the message to the team, and what do you do to try to get past that this year to get yourself back in the postseason and competing nationally in the NAIA?
Absolutely. Well, it starts with this game, right?
Yeah.
Amen.
It started with picking up that phone and accepting this challenge to come up here for this team and to represent the Sooner Conference. And the beautiful thing about what we get to do, there's really only one team that's happy at the end of the year, right?
No doubt.
And when you have the high aspirations that I know this school and program has, and I think they should think that way, that's what we're trying to build to. So it's really one of those things where you got to use it to learn your lessons and then use it for the fuel for the fire. And that's what we've done.
Yeah,
I love that.
You guys have done a tremendous job, I think, bouncing back from that, getting ready for a game like this. Can you give us the brief 30-second story of how did this come to fruition? It's not every day that, Ottawa, Arizona says, you know what, let's play Montana Tech. That doesn't just happen.
Yeah, no, there's definitely challenges. And Coach, he was motivated as well to play. And we both identified that we had a week 0 opening. And so I gave Coach a call, and from there, it kind of, started taking fruition, and here we are now.
Excellent.
Seth, close it out for us with Coach.
The cool thing about you guys is you went 8-1 in your first season. What has it been like now having a full calendar year under your belt to now go into another campaign?
Well, we definitely feel more settled. Last year was, the saying of drinking like through a water hose. Everything was brand new, and no spring ball, about 4 or 5 returning starters. I think we exceeded some of my expectations, and then we got so high, the expectations got so high. That's something that we have to overcome this year. And now being able to kind of make it more of my team and expectations, that's what I look forward to. But we also feel really blessed because of our athletic director and what we have at Ottawa AZ. They give us a chance to be really good, and now it's our time to go show it. But for the first year, almost run the table, that would have been a great way. But I think Lord has His plans a lot of times, and I'm a firm believer in that. And things just went a little too smoothly, and at the end there, we caught a little bit of adversity, and it didn't end the way we wanted it. But I guess, like we talked about further, it's just fueling that fire for a game like this and what we think we can do for this program.
Absolutely. Coach, thank you so much for your time. We are excited to see what both sides of the ball, what you guys put on the field tonight.
Honestly, I appreciate you guys so much. How stinking cool it is. Right? I've been watching this guy. It's like a celebrity. I need an autograph from him, man.
We've come to realize this.
This is the guy.
Yeah. And I'm just a dork because in my head, like, I'm sitting over going, well, yeah, Coach Murphy, it's his first time up here against Montana Tech, but he was the offensive coordinator for St. Thomas a couple years ago when they went up against Carroll College in Helena. So he's been up here before. This is like
your freaking Rolodex is going
through NAIA.
Well, you're close, but actually I wasn't there when they went there.
Oh,
no, I wasn't. But
all right, I'm done.
You're good. You're good. I didn't want to leave on a correction.
Screwed it up.
But
Coach, thank you so much for your time. We're
Thanks,
excited
guys.
to see this group
Appreciate
tonight.
you. Appreciate you guys.
Head coach from
All right,
Ottawa,
thank you.
Arizona, Coach
Thank you,
Murphy.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, we're going to get back to some D2 previews and try and close that out. Seth, we were talking about West Texas A&M, and I wanted to talk. You had talked about Nash on the other side of the ball. When you stay in the quarterback conversation, what RJ Martinez did for this Buffs team is going to be very, very difficult to replicate. This is not a very small task for them. And you might see Knox Porter get the start as a sophomore, maybe one of the former JUCO signal callers on that roster. I'd be willing to believe that battle is very much still active down in West Texas, but the two other things you need to know are the new faces and the coaching staff. Kevin Bleal, the OC for the Buffs, he was named in February, previously with Pitt State as their offensive coordinator for the last 2 seasons. Then on the defensive side of the ball, there's a lot of big things going on for them, but I think West Texas, I'm very high on heading into this year. Let's shift gears. Mike, you're talking to me about this Angelo State team, my friend.
Yes, I am. Angelo State last year was a disappointing season. There's no other way. I can't sugarcoat this, can't go in there and say anything but that. It was a disappointing season. They used a 2-quarterback system last year for much of the year. Now they're transitioning that to a standard starter. This was an open competition through spring, no announcement. Through fall camp, no announcement. So we got a lot of question marks around this Angelo State team. If they're going to get to the top of the conference, it's got to be through efficient and effective quarterback play. I think the 2 QB system was not what they wanted last year. I want to see if they can be efficient on offense and start to move the chains a little more than they did last year. And they got a real test. I want to hear about your quarterback situation.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get complicated, and we talk quarterbacks here, Mike, the quarterback situation at Fort Hays is one that is very, very complicated. And that is just because we don't really know, I guess, until about a week ago, we didn't really know who was going to be the quarterback for this team. And you talk about a guy who came over, Jackson Berry, who's no longer on the roster for this Fort Hays State team. He was the threat under center for Pittsburgh State just a year ago. And there were some circumstances that went down at Pitt State where he believed that he would no longer have eligibility to play, or due to just eligibility expiring or academic reasons. Anyways, Pitt State said, you're gone. He finds an opportunity with Fort Hays, believes he's going to get another year. I don't know exactly how the details went down. What I do know is that the potential MIAA Player of the Year candidate and frontrunner is not suiting up for Fort Hays. So instead, we know now going into this game, quarterback Major Cantrell is going to get the start after transferring in from Iowa State. And something that's really has stood out to me is that Major does not have a lot of game experience, guys. But when you talk and you hear from Coach Brown, he says that his game IQ and his practice experience from the D1 level is what really separated him and what won him the job outright heading in here to week 0. It sounds like defense was winning big early in camp. Tigers did a lot of tackling, a lot of full speed drills in fall camp. A lot of things to be very excited about for them. We're going to keep things just ripping, though, right into the next set of game previews, guys. Let's go down and talk about some teams that I think deserve some coverage, and that, of course, being Virginia Union and Lenoir-Rhyne, a matchup that wasn't exactly set at the beginning of the season, but when West Florida makes the jump to D1 and these teams, Virginia Union and Lenoir-Rhyne, they got to make something fill on their roster. Mike, what can we expect?
Well, Lenoir-Rhyne, they really struggled on defense last year. And going into this season now, they lose their top 2 defenders. So I'm getting a little concerned about that. Linebacker Travion Cooper, gone. DB James Ursay, gone. That's 2 levels of defense. That's 128 tackles that have to be replaced. Those are called irreplaceable guys. Who steps into those situations? And you want to know the worst part? Their top defensive lineman, their top sack getter, Maddox April, gone. So if they're going to want to get back into, winning ways, winning traditions, they're going to have to figure out who steps into those roles, how efficiently. There's no time to kind of ease into things. It's got to be go, go, go when they're playing a really good Virginia Union team. And one thing before I hand it off to you is Lenoir really got going last year. They won 3 of their last 4 games to finish off the season, and their only loss was a 1-point overtime loss. Sometimes that can be contagious. It can get into an offseason, get into the weight room. Let's see if they can keep that thing rolling. I like their odds today.
I certainly do, too. And, the best thing going in Lenoir-Rhyne's favor is the fact that they don't have to play against Curtis Allen. The Harlan Hill winner is no longer playing at Virginia Union. First, it was Jada Byers. Then it was Curtis Allen. Will there be another outstanding running back to come out of that offensive backfield? We will see. But we do know about that offensive backfield. There's a little bit of clarity on the quarterback position. And Coach Parker says quarterbacks RJ Rosales and Miles Derricott have been pushing one each other for that quote-unquote main job heading into week 0 here. We'll see who takes those first snaps for the Panthers under center. This game only happened, like I said, because West Florida was moving up. Lenoir-Rhyne had that vacancy on its schedule, and now we are the beneficiaries of that. So shout out to West Florida. Now D1, no longer I guess under the D1R umbrella, but they're still making some pretty good things happen for us.
I know it's sad. It's a conference that's so good, but it's like they don't have their auto bid anymore, correct?
No.
To get into the playoffs, right?
No, so, Gulf South has been gutted.
So it's tough. It's really good football. Like if you would say, it might be the most competitive conference maybe in all of D2 just because there's three really good teams. Like, that's the hard part about it.
It is. And tell me about, you talk about another good conference.
Woo!
Northern Sun's got a big one today. Tell me about the Bulldogs, man.
Well, the Bulldogs specifically, right? They were 10-2 last year, first NSIC championship outright since 2012. And the question is, what does UMD look like without Kyle Waljasper? And if I know anything about Kurt Weesey, if I know anything about Chase Vogler, they're not going to change. They're not going to change what they do offensively, running the quarterback, that 12 personnel quarterback run game. I just think with Jacob Egger, we saw him come in some relief roles a year ago.
Yeah.
Explosive athlete, not necessarily the run between the tackles type of guy, but I think you're going to see a very similar style of play, just a different flavor. I think Kyle Waljasper's maybe like Rocky Road ice cream, and I think Jacob Egger is more like midship, if you will, Kobe. I think that's just kind of what we've going to expect is that quarterback-heavy run game. Now, obviously, they got a tough task going all the way to Slippery Rock today, but, man, it's going to be a fun one for the NSIC.
It certainly will. I think Cage shed a tear, and we talk about the Argos a little bit and his boys down there, but a lot of things for this matchup that are going to be big time. Jason, what can you tell me about The Rock?
You know, Slippery Rock is a hungry football team and a team that's got a tremendous atmosphere that Duluth is going to have to go into and try to compete in. 19 straight home opening wins. It's a whiteout now night for Slippery Rock.
Yeah.
Coach Sean Lutz's team, he's been there 31 years, like 13, 18 as a head coach, something like that. I mean, this is really a program with a lot of pride, and that offense is really going to center around J.J. Jordan. I mean, he's an all-PSAC player from last year. He was the athlete of the year, over 1,800 all-purpose yards. The issue for them is who's going to be blocking for him up front. They only return one starter on that offensive line. It's going to be tough for him maybe to find those holes early on. And we know Duluth is a physical football team. So Jordan's going to have to feel himself out a little bit in this game. But I think their defense in that 4-2-5 with a really strong defensive line coming back with Trevor Valenti leading things up there for Slippery Rock is going to be able to maybe what keeps Duluth at bay for just a little bit in this game. And then you throw Jacob Snow and his experience in at the linebacker position. I think it's going to make this a highly competitive game between these two. And it's just like the NAIA. When you get two tremendous conferences playing football against one another and teams haven't played before, you just got this feeling like, all right, let's go. Slippery Rock, Duluth, why not?
Yes, that's exactly.
It does feel like a why not. This is badass. Let's do it.
It feels like a Montana Tech, Ottawa, Arizona. Why
Why not?
I mean, literally, you talk about a team now, we transition and talk about the Lakers. This is a team that I think a lot of people, including myself, are torn on heading into 2026. Grand Valley State, they return a lot, but they had some real duds in the schedule last year. The preseason polls have ranked the Lakers very, very high. Mike, what can you tell us about GVSU and what they have to prove tonight?
Well, I am not concerned about this GVSU.
Okay.
I think GVSU is back. This is a national contender this year. They can win the national championship this year. I know that sort of thing has kind of left the program for a little bit and is back this year. The quarterback, Andrew Schuster, back. Wide receiver, Kellen Reed, back. Both starting tight ends, the majority of their offensive line. Oh, you worried about defense? 80% of defensive production is back for the GVSU Lakers this year. They are a true contender again, and the sky's the limit for this team. In Charleston, I just have the weird feeling that they're going to be in for a very, very long day on their home turf.
What say you, Jason? What say you?
Not
that you're necessarily Mr. Charleston, but
he is today.
I'm close to being Brick Tamlin talking about D2 football here.
Loud noises.
Yeah, exactly. I like a lamp, but I also like Charleston in this game. 8-3 last year. They're a team that is hungry after being left out of the postseason, having that overtime loss to Frostburg State last year. I think this is a team that's got something to prove. They've got the home field. They've got Matt Fry back at quarterback with 527 yards and 4 touchdowns off of last season. You got the Behringer kid coming back at wide receiver. This is a young, hungry team. And I think the key, especially early in the season for any team like this, is do you have depth on the offensive line?
Yes.
And that's what Charleston has got. They've got depth at the offensive line with Frank Molina leading things there. I think Charleston's got a great opportunity tonight to maybe show something to Grand Valley State. But if I'm wrong, I'm the NAIA guy talking D2, so who cares?
It's going going to be very telling. I mean, for both sides of the ball. And Grand Valley, I think, historically in these non-conference matchups has performed pretty well. They've come out west a few times and played Colorado Mines. But you go out and stay in that out west sector. We got Central Missouri coming on the road to the Thunder Bowl and taking on the Thunder Wolves from CSU Pueblo. The Mules have had one of the more exciting offenses in all of D2 football.
Fellas, that is absolutely correct. They have continued to have a really good team offensively, especially, let me see my notes here as I continue to try to hold our set together here. This is great, but Donovan O'Mello led the MIAA, I will say, and here comes the rain as well. The MIAA led total offense and in passing offense as well. Now, here's the question for UCM that continues to remain is, can they sustain against good teams that aren't just okay, oh, we got some rain coming in, fellas. Oh boy.
Have you ever seen the rain?
This is, fellas, Small School Saturday if I've ever seen it.
Holy
we may need to take a little bit of a break as the set comes down.
Oh no!
Here it goes.
I mean, we're technically still live, but
Donovan O'Mello did go.
Gavin, hit the wide cam so that people can see what's going on here, friend.
It's like Twister.
Donovan O'Mello did lead the.
We might be heading to a break.
Fellas, we appreciate you. We might head to a quick break here if we can figure it out.
Let me see if I can get a break
TV
going.
live?
Just do it live. Here we go.
We do it live. Now, let me see what else we can talk about here. Now, it's like CSU Pueblo is one of those teams.
We're going to a break. We're going to a break.
We appreciate you.
We thank the Frontier Conference for these towels. Oh my God.
Hey, use
Turn that down, turn that down, turn that down, turn that down, turn that down.
Oh boy. All right, everyone, just want to give you a quick update here. Gavin, that camera, if you don't mind turning the iris, open that up a little bit so the great people can see us. We are still live here in Butte, Montana. Go ahead and lighten that thing up, Gavin. There we go. That's good right there. Right there is awesome. We are still live. There's still rain. Some big-time winds have come through. TV, laptop, shot, some equipment, hopefully still doing okay. Sounds like I think you guys can all still hear me, so I appreciate your patience with us. We're going to cut to another break as we wait for this storm cell. I mean, that's really what it is, this storm cell to pass through Butte, and hopefully we can continue the coverage on the other side. We will be here waiting. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update as we cut back to the content.
Third division, we're not on a rain delay. We're on a serious other situation.
Look who it is. It's Seth Howard going out to join some of the great folks of Butte as we wait out this storm cell together. Seth, a fantastic outfit. What can you tell me? You're out in the field reporting right now, my friend.
Well, it is raining, Kobe. I will say that. It is raining, and we had this segment planned for a little bit later in the show, but we figured, what the hell? Let's go find some people to talk to. We're actually going to go to this tailgate over here real quick. What's your name, sir?
Brent.
Brent, and I was wondering, could you give me your best Bob Green impression? Who the hell's Bob Green? We're going to move on. Doesn't know who the hell Bob Green is. You know what? That makes me feel like it's like your mother-in-law going off the cliff in the Cadillac. You got mixed feelings, but we will move on. There's a little bit extra going on here. Fellas, you guys know who Bob Green is? So we're going to move a little back. Okay, let's go find somebody else to talk to here. Yeah, Kobe, I got you. I hear you. Hey, you know who Bob Green is, right? Hey, well, can you give me your best Bob Green impression, or at least give me your best favorite Bob Green one-liner?
It's a double-edged sword, like your mother going off the cliff in your brand new Cadillac.
Got mixed feelings, right? You got a favorite one?
Oh, I do.
Let's hear it.
I'm happier than a puppy with 6 Peters.
You got one?
I don't
Hey, you're
know
not
one.
right. Oh, what? Okay, here's my question then. What's your name, sir?
Martin.
Martin. Who do you think's going to win the game, and what's the score going to be?
Let's just see what happens.
Wow, not even throwing it out there. Okay, we will move on then here. You, sir, I have something to ask you. What's your name, sir?
Chris Zanger.
Okay, Chris?
Yes, Chris Zanger.
Do you know who Bob Green is, of course,
Yes,
right?
I do.
Could you give me your best Bob Green impression, or at least your favorite Bob Green-ism?
Yeah, I don't have one. I'm sorry, man.
That's okay. What do you think's good? What do you think the final score is going to be at this game today?
21-7.
You heard it here first, folks. Fellas, thank you for joining on. Yeah, what's your Chris again?
Chris Zanger,
Give me a Let's Go Diggers on 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go Diggers!
Seth is doing his thing. Seth is doing his thing. Coming back to the set now. Appreciate you, Seth. Appreciate you.
Check
There
out
you
the
go.
belt buckle.
We are going to cut to a quick break. Once again, when we come back, we will resume the original programming here on Small School Saturday. There's a good look at Javo getting the set ready for us. Thank you so much for doing that. We'll be back with you shortly here from Butte, Montana. Oh, there we go. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Cut to the wide, Gavin. We're gonna have to mess with those PTZs a little bit. That's okay. Thank you all so much for sticking through it with us here in Butte, Montana, as we deal with some very adverse weather conditions. But we're gonna try and keep things rolling here for you as we get closer to game day. The Orediggers and the Spirit will do battle on Bob Green Field here eventually. But until then, I wanted to take the chance to highlight one of the players on this Oredigger defense, a guy by the name of Christian Hansen. He's a Butte native, but this guy was one that was overlooked by Montana Tech staff and many others. About only 140 pounds, he tells me. Gentlemen, is my mic muted still, or no? We're good. Okay,
No,
good.
sir, you are good to go.
All right, beauty. And Christian is one that I think his story is so unique. The now captain and defensive back starter for this Montana Tech defense was once a guy that thought his career in college would be running track at the junior college level, but Coach Sampson and his staff gave him a chance. An unlikely tryout earned him the opportunity of a lifetime with the Orediggers.
Ooh, just never give up. You know, I went and ran track for 2 years, and as soon as I started running track, I just wish it was football. You know, you don't get that camaraderie. So, you know, I thought to myself, you know, maybe there's a possibility, but it's unlikely that any coach will give me a chance to, you know, get back out on the field. But, you know, Coach Sampson and the coaching staff here, they blessed me with an opportunity, and I just wasn't going to waste that. You know, I discovered the weight room a little later than most people in high school. I got to be honest, I didn't lift that much in high school. And then, yeah, once I started running track, I realized, dang, if you put the work in, you see results. And then I kind of got addicted to those results. So I just remember the day of the tryout. You know, I was driving from Spokane. I was just excited the whole time to be able to put the cleats back on, you know, and, you know, just play football again. I was just so excited. There really weren't any nerves. It was weird. I was just, you know, ecstatic that even if, you know, it didn't go my way, that I, you know, got one more chance to, you know, change course. When you're running track, you're in your own lane. You control the outcome of your own race. You don't have to necessarily trust the guys next to you, which really is, you know, the biggest thing about, I guess, life. You know, you got relationships, you know, that you build in football. You know, you got to trust them, because not only is the outcome of the game, but, you know, honestly, some safety issues, you know, like if the linemen don't block for the quarterback, you know, you got to be able to trust those guys. And yeah, it just creates a great family. Everyone was just so great. Like, they just opened me with open arms and just embraced me, showed me the way, showed me how they did things here. And yeah, it was really easy to adopt if you wanted to, you know, because they were so helpful. And so, yeah, they just wanted everyone to succeed. And yeah.
Butte's Redline Sports, family owned and operated for 37 years. Our knowledgeable, friendly sales and service teams have you covered with a full lineup of Honda and Polaris side-by-sides, snowmobiles, and on and off-road motorcycles. Redline Sports, Southwest Montana's powersport headquarters. Get out and ride.
A massive thank you to our friends over at Redline Sports for sponsoring that segment, and an incredible journey for Christian Hansen, right? This is a guy who I talked about, an unlikely story, an unlikely path to college football. He has made his mark in many different ways on the defense for this Montana Tech team. He's now a captain. He's earned
I think that just got both. Yeah.
I apologize for those of you waiting today.
It's been magical,
yeah,
fellas.
No, I mean, today has been a day of adversity.
Welcome to Montana, right?
You that have stuck around with us, I just want to say thank you, and I will continue on with this Dort preview here right quick.
Thank you.
Now, I got some time. I got to spend some time with Levi jungling. Fun fact about him, he's their offensive coordinator, and while he was still playing receiver at Dort, he was actually the receivers coach at the same time. He told me they were drawing up plays while he was in the meeting to get him the ball. But guess what? The receiving is not the biggest factor here for the Dort defenders. It's that rushing game. They run that triple option attack. 241 rushing yards per game. Only 99 rushing yards allowed per game, fellas. And so, straight up, Dort wants to control the game in every single fashion, both on offense and defense, fellas.
They certainly do.
They do. And when you look at this Indiana Wesleyan team...
Not to cut you off, Jason, how about this clip from the Dort offseason? The boys getting in some cliff jumping.
Tremendous.
That is phenomenal. I think it's out in Wyoming. The team made a trip out there.
Definitely not Iowa.
Definitely not.
Hey, there's some cliffs out there
There's
now.
some cliffs near the Missouri River.
But talk about my guy Arch here in this Indiana Wesleyan team.
Yeah, Lothie's one of the best quarterbacks in NAIA football. He's a guy that can absolutely sling it. And this Indiana Wesleyan football team, it's no surprise to anybody that they're good coming into into this year. But what they have to try to set and establish here in the first game is their ability to carry that not just through the regular season, but into the postseason. And it's going to take those guys up front on the offensive line. This is the best offensive line returning in NAIA football. 4 or 5 starters are back. They've got All-American candidates again. It's going to be the offensive line that's going to help bring this offense along and help the skill position guys like Ryan Whitwell get the yards that he needs to do out of the backfield. Now on defense, they're going to have some issues maybe early on with this triple option just because they don't have all the experience coming back on defense that they did last year. It's not like they haven't seen this before. They see it from Taylor University when they go up against the Trojans. But I do think a linebacker like Terry Sylvester, he's a guy that's going to have a big game on Friday night. And ultimately, he's going to be one of the big difference makers for that Indiana Wesleyan defense against Dordt.
Stay in the NAIA scene, Mike. We're talking Lindsey Wilson, now university, previously college, taking on Reinhardt. Give me the scoop on this LWU team.
Well, LWU has lost a lot on their defense. That's really the scoop. So how are they going to replace those guys? Get some fresh pieces in there to step into it. The key thing that I'm going to look for is if they can knock off a really good Reinhardt team is if the young guys that can step in, the moment's not too big, right? Are the lights too bright? The lights are almost too bright for our show.
The lights got really bright,
I mean,
Mike.
they got bright for us. So hopefully they don't get too bright for these guys. They can relax, let that first drive get in there, and then they can take down Jason's squad. He's going to talk about here.
Yeah, you know, Reinhardt is a quality team out of the Appalachian Athletic Conference, but they lost a lot of guys from last year's playoff team that lost to Southeastern University in the NAIA Championship Series. When you look at them through and through, it's offensive skill positions that they need to have come out and perform for them. And ultimately what they've got is a bunch of guys that haven't been on the field together. They've got a transfer quarterback potentially starting in Armor Gordon, who came out of Valdosta State. He looks to be the guy that will lead this Reinhardt offense. But defensively, they have got a tall task in front of them as they go up against a Tate Rice-led Lindsey Wilson football team and one of the best running backs in NAIA football in Tay Saunders. This is an awesome offense that Lindsey Wilson has got. Reinhardt has their work cut out for them on defense.
They certainly do, and I thought we were going to have to cut it, but I'm glad to say that we got a great fan favorite segment back on Small School Saturday. The man himself. Let's see if we can get that camera working. Time for Jabo's fun fact of the day. He's doing a little bit of a deep dive, doing some research. Let's get you on camera here. Like, people can hear you, but they can't see you just yet. You haven't switched it on the ATEM, brother. I don't believe.
Okay, and the lights were bright. All right.
Big screen jitters, buddy. Big screen jitters.
I thought I was going to get blown into Munchkin Land after that storm. Okay, I thought I was going to see Dorothy.
Just take the yellow brick road home, buddy.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
what do you got for us, guys?
I got a fun fact for y'all. So back in 1962, the Montana Tech was on a 9-year.
Baby.
I just got done covering stuff with towels. We're a little jittered.
You're
but
killing
we
it.
are
so,
in Butte.
9-year, 44-game losing streak. Okay, the athletic department in football was on the brink of just collapse. And then, led by Hall of Fame coach Ed F. Simonich and students who are playing on the team for this heart, no scholarships, just heart, blood for the game, come in, beat Northern Montana College, 31 players on the team. 31.
No shot.
Okay, so I think the coach got in the game at some point. I could have gotten in there, but they won. They ended the losing streak. They saved athletics, and now here we are. Gonna watch some football.
What a phenomenal stat. Thank you,
Gavin.
There you go.
Is this or is this not Butte, Montana? Is this or is this not the Frontier Conference? Let's play some football.
Let's play some freaking football, man. Gavin, thank you very much for that. We're going to cut over now and talk about an NAIA/D2 contest. I think the people deserve a look at what we got going on here in Butte. Once again, this is Bob Greenfield, Alumni Coliseum in Butte, Montana, where we are live. We are dealing with, man, everything in the book the weather can throw at us. Check out the tailgate scene here at Butte. These people have stuck through thick and thin for this matchup. This tailgate is absolutely packed. The game will kick off at 6 o'clock Mountain Time. And it looks like, boys, take a look right there. Could it be clear skies for the rest of the Small School Saturday show? I think we are all hoping and praying for that one, man.
A big shout out also to Frontier Conference Commissioner Scott Crawford for the towels. Those came in handy as it turned out.
It did.
So incredibly clutch. My laptop and the TV behind us,
Not so much.
Rest in pieces.
All right.
It was jumping around. Let's just say
It was definitely doing that. But you talk about a matchup here, a crossover matchup, being the monumental matchup. UND and Marion, Indianapolis's only 2 scholarship college football teams, named after, of course, the downtown iconic landmark there in Indy, taking place tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern in Key Stadium. This is a big-time game for both these programs. UND, who lost potentially the best quarterback in the history of their program and their offensive coordinator, taking on Marion the Knights, a very strong top 15 NAIA program. A lot will be learned about both of these teams this week, gentlemen, but we're going to skip over our commercial break and get things going back into the NAIA realm. Believe it or not, yes, there is more NAIA football to talk about, and we are here to cover all of it. Starting things off in our second round here, we're going to talk about this matchup with St. Thomas and Cumberland. And, I'm going to kick it because I need a break from talking. I'm going to kick it over to the Cumberland counterpart instead of my St. Thomas pitch right here real
Happy
quick.
to do it, Kobe. Now, not to be confused with Cumberland's. This is Cumberland, a 7-4 team a season ago. Now, this was their second consecutive season going 7-4. Now, 300 yard. Oh, I'm not on that page, fellas. Let's absolutely roll here. I got some big screen jitters myself. Now, here's the thing with Cumberland. They have established a floor. 7 wins, 7 wins. Now it's time for the program to establish a signature win that changes how people talk about them nationally. Now, this first back-to-back 7-win season, it's the first time they've had a marks like that since 2012, but we'll see how they can fare against St. Thomas in an underdog matchup, I will say.
It certainly is. And St. Thomas, look at the other side of the ball, said Drew Davis in his second year with this squad. He's only the second head coach in program history. There's something about those upstart Florida teams and them making national noise early on. We talked about the Argos earlier, but new coordinators on both sides of the ball as well for this Bobcats team. And Matt Holichek, he was working with the quarterbacks at Mississippi State. You bring in Mickey O'Rourke coming from Kaiser, who brings a great amount of national playoff and national championship experience and pedigree to that St. Thomas side. That is going to be chalked up to a big-time matchup, and you keep things moving down. One more that we got. We go back to the mid-states. We're talking Taylor and Olivet Nazarene.
Taylor, man, this was a really good team last year, and this was a really good matchup. Maybe our best matchup of all the NAIA slate that we've been talking about because of how close it's been. Last year, a 48-42 overtime loss. These teams have played in overtime 2 games in a row now, and you look at last year's game. Taylor, they led 14-0 after the first. They led 35-14 in the third quarter, and they let that game slip away. When they were trying to run the ball to ice the game away, they ran for a total of -7 yards on their last 17 attempts. Coach Howard's going to talk about film. That's not good film.
No,
if
it's
they
not.
want to
That's
win
not good
today's
idea.
game, they got to run the ball efficiently to close out wins. Run the ball in the fourth quarter. Hit me with it, Jason.
Yeah, it was one of the best games in NAI football last year, and it started off the season. It was one of those games early on. I'm watching it on the score bug, and I'm like, all right, shut that one off. And then, holy cow, what happened here? And then we had, the overtime win. And what I look at with Olivet Nazarene, they're a lot like Taylor as well, where they're at in their program. They both have been very good. They've had quality seasons, 6, 7, 8 wins, but they haven't been able to make it into the postseason. And a game like this that starts off the season could ultimately make or break the path of Olivet Nazarene to a Mid-States Football Association Midwest crown or another 7-4 season. They're led by their quarterback, Christian Dew-Reed, who's a returning conference player of the year. He's a tremendous athlete, can throw it, can run it, can sling it, can do about everything.
Belleville kid out of Michigan.
Belleville, Michigan.
Got to see him play in person a few times, and he's a stud. He can sling it. He has how do I say this? Not your typical quarterback.
No.
You look at this kid, and
No.
he is a baller.
I'll go into the Wayback Machine in NAI football. He reminds me of Patrick Creighton from Northwest Oklahoma State,
Okay.
who went on to play for the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
Patrick Creighton was a quarterback for Northwest Oklahoma State for a couple seasons because he was just a great athlete. And that's what Christian Dew-Reed is. He's a great athlete at quarterback and does a tremendous job there. But if he gets out in open space, man, he's one of the most tremendous players in NAI football.
He certainly is, and we're going to transition over now. I'll say this. Usually you have to wait until you're long gone, until someone names a field after you, a stadium, or anything of the sort. What Bob Green did for Montana Tech, it was anything but usual. We caught up with the coach that went viral for his winning success on the field, that pedigree, and his viral moments off of it.
The key to the win was that the Orediggers took control early. Kind of like when you get married. That first day, your wife takes control early. And that's what the Orediggers did. Our football team was like the kid that plays second French horn in the school band. We got to play better. And that's a double-edged sword, It's kind of like watching your mother-in-law go off a cliff in a Cadillac. You got mixed feelings. First of all, they got after it hard. I'm telling you, they were like a hobo on a ham sandwich. They were going hard. A young lady here doing the sports, and she knew I'd said some things. She said, say something funny. Okay. I said, well, what did that famous football coach, Amos Alonzo Staggs, say right before he died? She looked at me, and I go, oh! And I said, you got to run that. That'll get you on ESPN. I interviewed here in December of 1986. I was a young know-it-all guy, and I'm the world's worst interview. Horrible, Came in, of course, I was loud, and I don't give anybody any personal space. And, you get about 5 inches away from the athletic director and 4 inches away from the president of the university, and you're telling him how good you're going to be, and spit's coming out and the boogers, and, I'm going like crazy. And he kind of, whoa, he went back. He said, you realize, Coach, that we have a great engineering curriculum, and I couldn't help it. I told him I always loved trains. Some aspects look like we're really ready to play. A couple of other aspects look like we just got off Willie Nelson's tour bus. I think if you establish good relationships with the media, it's good for your program, and it's really good for the university. So I always thought, we'll try and do that. And there were times I'd have something in my pocket ready to say. Kind of like being married, just stay in contact. I'm living proof that a dictatorship is an effective form of government. I don't like that bottled water. I like that butte water. You get to eat and drink at the same time. There's other times that they'll surprise you. I'm thinking he's going to ask something about Azusa Pacific, who's really good. And but he said, well, Coach, he said, congratulations. Everybody knew that your daughter had a baby. And I said, oh, yeah, it's wonderful, wonderful experience. He said, well, how does it feel to be a grandpa? I said, well, it feels great. He said, now I sleep with a grandma. And I really didn't think much about that until I got home. Coaching guys, I probably got home about 10:30, 11 o'clock that night. And Pam Green, whoa, Butte's an incredible community. In Butte, I was at 4 universities and 2 high schools over 40 years. But Butte and Montana Tech have a relationship that is unlike any place I've ever been. When you run out there today, know that you have all of Oredigger Nation. There are a lot of people pulling for you, people that have identity with this program through playing or having somebody who played, or through being connected with Tech, or being a donor. There's a wide range of people. So you're really carrying the hopes of everybody, and they know that you're not just carrying the hopes, but you're carrying their support. How many shots did that do?
You want to talk about a legend, right? An actual legend, a man who, like I said, this field right here, and I'm looking at the tailgate right now, but I'm going to swing you guys around as we look at this tailgate set up here at Montana Tech. This field here is Bob Green Field, and that is for a reason. This dude did so much good for this university here, but man, he did go viral, and he did say some awesome things, because that is what a lot of people know him for. And I hope, if anything, we taught some people about Bob Green, but you've obviously known about this guy for a long time.
I've had a long relationship with Bob Green from the moment that I met him. First thing he does is he asks me where I'm from. I'm like, small town in Nebraska, and in Bob Green voice, I'm from Minutair, Nebraska. and I'm just like, Minutair, Nebraska. And so we went on and we talked about Nebraska stuff, and he talked his coaching history. And if you look back to Northwest Missouri State when he was on that staff, and the guys that were also on that staff and moved on to head coaching positions, it's one of those coaching trees that not a lot of people know about. But one of my favorite Bob Green quotes that I've never seen show up in an interview, but I do remember reading in the newspaper, was after they played the University of North Dakota, and I think they got beat 60-3, and it was one of those money games. And somebody asked him the question, like, well, Coach, a positive out of this game, you get some funds for the program. What are some of your plans for that? And he just kind of pauses and he goes, That's kind of like asking Mary Todd Lincoln, other than the shooting, how was the play?
No shit.
Oh my gosh.
So I love Bob Green. I love me some Bob Green.
Holy cow. And like I said, his impact, I think, is felt on by so many here at this place and many others. You said there's multiple stops, but this is a guy who works out in the facility just about every day. When I'm talking with the players on our Zoom call leading up to the matchup, you know, they told me, they said, yeah, he's in there every day. And Levi Torgerson, their stud wide receiver, he said, Kobe, when you're out in the golf course, you can hear him about 4 holes over. But I love it. To your point, that's genuine. That's how he is all the time. It's not an act. That's not a farce. There's no facade. That is Coach Green, and I think that's what makes him so special. It's time now, though, for a new segment on Small School Saturday where we go into some of the analytics and some of the lines. It's Schultz versus the spread. We need to have a big-time performance out of you in round 1 here, Mike. What are you going to start us off with?
Well, there's a lot of nerves going into this. I mean, this is a first-time segment here. Schultz versus the spread. So now we are talking about matchups here using analytical spreads. So
Okay.
we're not picking winners and losers, guys. All right,
But can they cover?
But can they cover, right? You know, good teams win games, great teams cover.
Thank you.
And I want to get into our very first matchup. Let's move this thing right along here. And we've got a very, very fun one. NAIA versus FCS. All right, so we don't have much data to pull from here. Northwestern at Western Illinois. Western Illinois is a 23.5-point favorite. So what this means is that Northwestern has to lose by less than that number, and they cover the spread. So when I get into a game like this, I start thinking, what kind of data can I pull from? Obviously not much with a very rare matchup like this. Last year, Western Illinois was 4-8. They did play a non-scholarship team, Valpo, from the Pioneer League. That team is one of the worst in that league, and they won that game by 21. So you get to, you kind of start thinking, like, do we think Northwestern is maybe better than Valpo? Valpo lost by 21. That would have been covering. You know, how do we kind of look at this, guys? A 23.5, tough number.
Very good point. I'll let you guys start this one off.
I look at Northwestern and the fact that, you know, they're a physical football team. They return a lot on that defense, returning starting quarterback in Colby Duncan. Ultimately, you know, I see that 23.5 and I'm like, you know, I don't think Northwestern can win, but I think they're going to be competitive.
Yeah.
If somebody set that at 16, I think that's a tougher line. 23, I'm going Red Raiders.
Give me it. I'm with
Money
you.
in my
I'm with
pocket.
you. Yeah, okay. It's not a gambling show. We don't endorse any type of gambling, but in a hypothetical
1-800
world,
Gambler, if you need some
I do. Go.
1-800 Gambler, if you do need help, just throw that out there. But
I'm with you, though. I'm all in on Red Raiders.
I think I can't really say it much better. Like 23.5 just feels like way too much for a really good NAIA team. And we could easily sit here in a couple hours and be like, yeah, shoot. Like that was maybe a little aggressive. But like you said, I think 14.5, couple touchdowns. But 23.5, man, that's a lot. I'm going to take Northwestern here.
I got some great polls for you. And for the record, I'm definitely riding with the Red Raiders here from Northwestern. I got to shout out Jen and Ken Kroll, Leatherneck alum, of course, from WIU. And I also have to give a special shout out to Gianna Bennett. That is the kicker for this Northwestern team. She was the first female player to score in the GPAC. She now has scored 52 total points. The record for a female is 100. So shout out to her. We're all rooting on her to break that record. She's with a phenomenal team. And from the looks and sounds of it, guys, she's killing the game over there. So wanted to give her shout out and her kudos before moving on. Mike, what's your official pick, though, before the next game?
I'll let the expert come in here, and Gianna's going to need a heck of a lot more points. I see this as a 42-17 point game. Do the math there. That's Western Illinois minus 23.5 official pick there. Let's move down the line to the next one. So we're at odds with that a little bit. We got Valley City State at Southwest Minnesota State. This is another NAIA versus D2 matchup here. Valley City State coming off one of their best seasons in recent memory. And, you know, traditionally, NAIs haven't necessarily favored the best against Division II opponents, but this is a very gettable matchup. 15.5 point spread. My only concern here is you're a point and a half over that 14 number. 14 is a big number you want to be at spread-wise, so you have to basically get an additional field goal. You're almost talking about a 3-score win here. So that's where it gets a little tricky for me. What do you guys think on that?
I'm very much with you there. I saw 3 scores. I said, hell no, that's not happening. I'm going Vikings in spread. I think very competitive matchup. I'm taking them, though.
Well, I think the Frontier Conference, as we've talked about, is comparable, right? If they're the SEC to the Frontier, like so is the NSIC, and they'll say maybe. I don't think so, personally. I don't think so. I think the MIAA is the SEC, and I think there's a conference down south that might make an argument for the NAIA level. So I'm going to take Southwest Minnesota State to cover the points here. I think Southwest Minnesota State plays a little bit better competition than you might think, even though they might be bottom tier of the NSIC. Give me the Stangs with the points.
I look at this. Joey Cave is back at quarterback for Valley City State. It's the second year that he's going to be starting. The offense, I think, can keep up with Southwest Minnesota State, but I think the issue in this game is going to come down to the defensive line of Valley City State. Southwest Minnesota State, they've got a little bit bigger offensive line, a little bit better push for them there. I think ultimately that's what's going to swing this from being that 14 to a 21 game. If the Valley City State defensive line wants to come and eat, they want to come to play, they're going to keep it within 14. If they don't, then yeah, it's going to be Southwest Minnesota State. So I guess official pick, as an NAIA,
you're hedging over there.
You should.
Right. I mean, this feels like a 14-point game. I said earlier, I think this is like a 24-10 matchup. So I'm going to go with Valley City State as my official pick on that one. So going with the underdog in there to cover, but lose. Next, we got Augustana, last game here at Missouri Western. Augustana is a 3.5-point road favorite. And let me tell you about why that half point there is so important. So when you're looking at margins of victory, the most common margins in football statistically are 3 and 7.
Okay.
So to get that extra half point to get to 4 is a really big deal. And statistically in the NFL, looking at NFL data, your chances of covering a 3.5 point spread go down 6%, which in betting terms is huge.
Whoa.
So that half point is a big deal. So trying to get over that half point, it's a hard thing to do. Last year, this was a 4-point home win for Augie, and now they're a 4-point favorite on the road. What do you think about that? I mean, it's a really tricky number there.
I think, and what I know is that Missouri Western has 25 transfers coming in. I know they have 14 starters back. What I also know is that our guy Lucero and Augie over there are too dominant. I'll go with Vikings. I know it's a little bit of a setup, but that's what it is.
My thing is, I don't know what Augustana is going to be without Coach Sipple. Shout out the Dogs. They're about to kick off here soon. He is now at FCS Drake. And so I don't really know what Augustana will look like defensively. Probably do a lot of the same stuff. They're still going to have really good players. It's not like they brought a bunch of guys to Drake with him. But with that being said, I do think Missouri Western covers the spread here. I think it's just going to be a really good game personally.
Listen, I'm the NAIA guy. This is 2 D2 teams. Here's my thing. Augustana is a team in Sioux Falls. But Sioux Falls was like an NAIA dominant team back in the day. I got a lot of friends that are Cougars, and Cougars don't root for Augustana. I'm backing with my heart, not my head.
I thought that's
Missouri
where this was
Western
going.
by a million.
Oh, boy.
I absolutely thought that's where that was going. And before we continue,
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Let's talk more about this matchup. Montana Tech, Ottawa. You had a chance to break down the film, man. What did you see as you preview the Coach Howard's film room?
I'm not going to give anything away. Let's just roll it. A season ago, Montana Tech quarterback Jarrett Wilson threw for 30 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. So today, we're going to be looking at the Montana Tech offense. When I see a stat line like that, I think of 3 things. I think of efficient concepts, surgical decision-making, and ball players on the outside. So we're going to look at 2 concepts that keep showing up over and over again on the explosive play cut-up. Okay, so this first concept that we're going to break down is just 4 verticals. You've probably run it on College Football 27 or Madden or whatever the case is, and you probably think, yeah, Seth, this is just that concept where I just bomb it down the field. We got 4 verticals going right down the pipe, and we're just going to throw it to our best guy. Now, sometimes that certainly is the case. However, that's not really how we read this from a quarterback's perspective. And how we do read this is we will have a vertical at number 1. At number 2 to the field, we are going to run a seam bender, and that bender comes into play if we see any sort of middle field open, whether that's cover 2 or any sort of quarters. Let's say he bails out here, he bails out here, and we get some sort of cover 2 look. Now to the boundary, number 2 is going to be running just a fixed seam, okay? He doesn't have the option to bend this one. Now, how do we actually read this out? If I get any cover 3, so that means if I get a deep third here, a deep third here, a deep third here, I'm going to read my boundary seam, my fixed seam, to my field seam, to my back. So we do end up right here getting some version of cover 3. Now, Jarrett Wilson, he's so good with his eyes. So he gets his eyes on that first seam, which makes this safety, right, start to play that side of the field. Now, I don't know. Maybe he's savvy and he's like, hey, I want to work my guy, the hooper, Levi Torgerson right here. So I'm going to snap my eyes over to the right side of the field. And this is what I call a cat throw, which means my cat is better than your cat. And the hooper, Levi Torgerson, is just the better cat on this particular play. So this is another concept that keeps showing up over and over and over again on the explosive play cut up here. So we're going to get a little eye candy motion here, and then we're going to get a deep out here by number 2. That's that man, Levi Torgerson again. And then we're going to get a big post here by number 1. And then we will have some sort of over, and then maybe some sort of dig, maybe some sort of quick game on the other side. Okay, this position right here, if you're going to run this deep out, you really want to inside release and make that backer think that you're going off so we can pass this thing off and pick this thing up, right? But he's so good at selling his shoulders, selling his eyes inside, and then he snaps that thing out there, right? And another explosive play. Again, we got a deep post by number 1 right here, and we got that sell over, deep out, flood concept here. Levi's running that concept, and he says, Coach, I'm trying to go inside. I'm trying to go inside, but he's high walling me. He knows it's coming. Great. So I'm going to beat him with speed, have a good sharp cut going outside here. We got a little crash up here. What is that? Interstate 90 up there. So we got a little bit of a crash here. Wilson puts a great ball on him. We're sliding into first base, trying to get him. And then Coach Sampson, we got to move these ads. I know you got all these ads. We're trying to create some revenue, but we can't have our boy Levi Torgerson having to jump over. Now he's a hooper. He's got that 100-inch vertical. He could probably dunk a basketball up here, which is absolutely electric. This is my favorite part of the play right here. As you can see, a lot of efficient concepts, a lot of just great footballs being thrown by Jarrett Wilson, and just Levi Torgerson being an absolute ball player.
He is a ball player, and thankfully he was okay after making that jump. He was all right. Okay. Yeah, he was doing all right. But we want to take a look here as we transition over and keep talking some small school football. Let's take a look at this tailgate setup as we get closer and closer to kickoff here at Montana Tech. Check it out. This Montana Tech, the Emmett Club, and the Oredigger faithful. Check out this setup. These guys have the grill going. We get a top-down view of the grill. Yes, we got you on there. We got you. What do we got on the grill over there? Yes, sir. This place is phenomenal, and you see the support and what this team has shown out for. Even with weather like this tailgate is unmatched. That's a converted ambulance that this Montana Tech crew has turned into and sounded the alarm a few times pregame to get the attention of others. This place has been fantastic. We'll stick right here on the Skycam and talk about some D1 matchups. We'll go around, fellas. I'm going to kick it off right now, and we're kind of making our picks for what team we believe has the best chance. In Flopmeyer, we trust 17.5 points. No shot. St. Thomas, they did not impress me in the Superior Dome when they played against Northern Michigan. I think Winona is outright winners today against St. Thomas. I'm taking them over the Tommies. I did not like what I saw when they played the Wildcats. They kind of eked out a win against, let's be honest, what was a struggling Northern Michigan team. That Winona State team's got something to prove starting off 2026. I like them outright.
As a Drake Bulldog assistant coach, I guess maybe I shouldn't do this to give bulletin board material, but that's exactly what I'm going to do, Kobe. I am also going to take Winona State to win outright, because why not? Add a little fuel to the fire.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm with you. I mean, just Winona State coming from a conference that's just better competition. I mean, I think Winona is going to get that game.
Hey.
Yeah, I think we also have a little bit of jaded, like you're going to leave a small school and then make that jump.
Get out
make
of here.
Make some enemies.
Well,
make some enemies. Mike, what do you got for us?
There was a game that wasn't even on the graphic, I think.
Oh, wait a minute.
There's a team that I like out of South Dakota, really good, great coaching staff.
The Hard Rockers, I think you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about South Dakota Mines. They're going into Des Moines. Lord knows where it is, into Drake. It's a track school, and they got to play a team that's got a new coaching staff. We don't know what they got going on, if they even won any big games. They got their assistant quarterback coach is kind of in and out of the building. So this is a Mines team that's got It's kind of all going. It's kind of all roads lead to South Dakota Mines here. I'm going with South Dakota Mines, the Hard Rockers, and it could get ugly. It could get ugly.
Hard Rocker Nation, man. It's
Stand
not,
up.
It's not in. They're lucky it's not at South Dakota Mines. They pull those pickup trucks in there. They watch it from the
Could you
tailgate,
imagine?
literally.
Could you imagine?
Oh boy.
You know, one I do have that I want to comment
That is
on.
absolutely ridiculous. Let me put that first. Like that is so blasphemy. Here's the deal. Drake is going to win by 1,000 points today. I'm telling you, they didn't want to change. They didn't want to exchange films, so they have no idea what they're getting themselves into, fellas. So good luck to the Hard Rockers. You're going to get your ass beat today by 1,000,000 points by a bunch of boys up in blue.
Drake,
and baby blue, I will say.
Man, I was just going to say, I think 34.5 for Louisiana Christian against Northwestern State. I don't have the passion, but that I'm honestly saying, like,
let me pull it back up for you, Jason. I got you. There it is. There it is.
Louisiana Christian, like, you look at that and you're like, well, you know, Louisiana Christian 8-3 last year. A lot of returning starters, a lot of talents on that team. Northwestern State was 0-11. I think they're losers of 15 straight. I
favored by almost 35.
I'm looking at that going, I realize that's an FCS versus an NAIA, but don't call me crazy saying, like, I think the Wildcats have a shot. Outright win. Now, I'm going to look like an idiot.
Is Polk still in that defensive backfield? He graduated.
No, he transferred.
He transferred.
I can't remember where he ended up.
He was a
might be at Northwestern State. Might be at Northwestern State. I mean, that's
be there. I think he's honestly at Nicholls State. Now that you say that.
Okay.
But
okay.
I do think LCU might have a shot to maybe shock some people in that game. By the way, if they lose by 40, please clip this. I never said that.
Yeah, Drake's in trouble.
Oh my goodness.
That's just what we call a flat-out rage bait. Mike Schultz does not believe that, or he just doesn't understand football, to say the least.
We'll keep going talking about the Orediggers here from Montana Tech. And guys, I think we can agree the term eligibility has never had a more loose definition than in the year of 2026. And in a day of age where you have athletes playing for 6, 7, 8 years at their respective institutions, Levi Torgerson, the potential player of the year coming out of Montana Tech, he had a decision to make. He found out that he had 1 semester of eligibility left to compete in a sport that he loves. The basketball and football player here for Montana Tech had a very tough decision. Both teams he contributed to in a big way for the Orediggers. I checked in with him and asked what made him eventually choose this football team.
Now the all-purpose leader in Montana Tech history. Teams have not been able to stop him.
Yeah, definitely a tough decision. You know, I didn't know that he was even a possibility until a couple days after the game that we ended up losing in the playoffs. So had a couple weeks to, ultimately decide, and it was obviously tough just with the basketball situation. You know, we go and beat the D1 Grizzlies, and so it was kind of kickstarted our year. And then I just think the opportunity that I had in football, coming back, got a lot of guys returning. I got both my brothers that are involved with the program, so just the opportunity that I have, with football continuing on, and just the guys that we have coming back, the opportunity that we have, to put on a better season, hopefully to put on a better season that we did last year, and reach our end goal. I just think being a return specialist as well as just being a receiver, I think that kind of brings another aspect to my game, just being, a little versatile and, both the return game and being a receiver. Obviously, I'm not the typical, 6'4" receiver that everyone's looking for, but I think just, taking pride in the punt return, the kick return aspects, trying to create momentum plays, that translates to the next level. There's not always guys that, take pride in that, or teams that take pride in that. I think that we do a really good job over here in the special teams wise, and, just kind of having a chip on my shoulder, throughout the recruiting process, throughout everything, just getting after it every day. And obviously it's every kid's dream to, keep playing as long as you can. So, I'm just kind of putting my foot forward, going day by day and then game by game, and see how the season goes. Our kind of thing this year is just finish the mission. So we had 4 missions last year, obviously, the last one being the national championship. So just trying to finish the mission is our little mantra this year. And, having a chip on our shoulder, we're at the top of our conference right now, kind of being the hunted, so to speak. But there's obviously 4 teams they're ahead of us, or we expect to be ahead of us in the preseason poll. So still fighting to get better every single day. So we want to stay hungry, have a chip on our shoulder. It's a lot different. Everyone kind of wants to get after us, have our best game. So we got to be ready each and every week. And hopefully week 1 it's going to be a test, but I think we're ready for it.
Levi Torgerson is one of the most dynamic players in the entire country. And when I say he is a candidate to be the player of the year in the NAIA, Jason, I think you can back me up.
Yeah.
That's a pretty soundly based argument.
You know, you throw a touchdown pass, you catch a touchdown pass, you
He's
take
done
a
that.
kick back for a touchdown, you take a punt back for a touchdown. About the only thing I don't think he's done is go in at DB and get an interception and house it.
Maybe that's tonight.
Yeah, that could be
Maybe
tonight.
we
You
could see a
never
little bit
know.
of that today.
You could possibly.
We certainly could. And there was news that broke just this last week, and we stay in the NAIA landscape. Grandview, the first team to go ahead and announce a jersey patch, and that was big time news in the NAIA landscape. Who was before them, though, at the Division II level? It was Central Missouri, who announced a landmark deal, 6-figure deal reportedly, with Shelter Insurance, part of which includes right to jersey patches on all sports at UCM. The only issue, jersey patches have not been approved at the D2 level. And now the matter of D2 jersey patches, that'll be voted on in the January 2027 NCAA convention. In the meantime, though, you see it on the field. Shelter Insurance, they get their logo on the field at Walton Stadium, in addition to some other big-time places. I believe it might be in the court and some other things moving forward. They get to have the name of being the official auto, home, and life insurance partner of UCM Athletics, and they have prominent signage across all these different venues. But if this is passed, which, I mean, let's be honest with each other, it's probably going to pass. Right. If this is passed, it will make good on the 5-year agreement from UCM and their partner putting patches on all 17 of the Mule and Jenny athletic teams down there. What do we make of that?
This is basically just I don't know if it's an alum or whatever the case is, but this is one of those scenarios where he said, I'm going to give you a bunch of money, but I want my name on literally everything. So shout out them for doing that. But yeah, kind of strange to throw in the jersey patch, maybe announce it when it actually goes through. But still, yeah, kind of strange. But shout out UCM. They're going to have a bunch of money to play with.
And the thing that I have to consider with this whole thing is you guys have kind of got a couple months here now. How soon before we start seeing the D1 reject jersey patches?
How much capital do you have?
I don't have. I was going to see if you guys could help.
Well, we're
support
going to
DSA.
buy a new laptop and a new TV.
After that storm that just came through, we might be hurting.
Play with,
we might be hurting for a little bit of funds. But I think, working on it now at the Division I level, my role with Wisconsin, and seeing what goes on behind the scenes in these agreements, I genuinely, and maybe this is, biased and working in that environment, I genuinely think it's a great thing for small schools. In a day and age where schools are constantly looking for alternative revenue streams, why not? When you have an alumni that's attached or maybe in a prominent position at a company like this, give them a real opportunity to give back, assist the program in a plethora of ways while also getting something out of it for themselves and their company.
Yeah, my real life, my real world is marketing, finding new ways to market a business and reach new customers. And this is just another tool that you can have in the toolbox to find ways to get your brand out there and help establish that brand and what you stand for, and then go alongside, somebody locally that you believe in their mission as well.
Since we're all shouting out our jobs, Sizzle Media is a phenomenal company.
Left hash call. Left hash call.
All right,
Left hash call.
Cut away to the tailgate here. Take a look one more time at the tailgate here at Montana Tech. Look at the mountains, fellas. This is Butte, America. We're talking a little bit more D2, though, as we look over the tailgate. Some big-time matchups in the Northern Sun Conference, the NSIC, big-time non-conference slate. Mankato going on the road to Mesa is a very interesting matchup. This Beaver-Husky matchup between Michigan Tech and Bemidji State has produced some extra time, some overtimes, and fantastic finishes. Chadron State on the road in the Bank Stadium at Northern State, and finally Wayne State, Nebraska, Kearney. All 4 of these teams with big-time things going on. I'm going to start right now with that Northern State matchup. The Bank Stadium is going to be rocking. They have one of the best attended D2 venues in the entire country. I will say, Chadron State, if you remember where they finished their season last year, in the jungle at Pittsburgh State. If any team is ready, I think it's Coach Long and the boys down there. Am I biased because they sent me a box full of gear? You make it that what you meant.
Maybe. Now, I think the biggest one for me is that Minnesota State Mankato game, and mostly because I'm really just interested to see how good this Minnesota State team is. And it's not that I'm necessarily just overriding Colorado Mesa. It's just they have goals of a national championship. I want to see how good is this team really going to be in 2026.
You know what? When I look at the lineup that you've got there's some tremendous matchups. You've got Chadron on there. You've got Wayne State on there, of course, playing Kearney. I'm a Nebraska guy, true and true.
Lopers.
And when you look at that matchup, just what it means to the state of Nebraska, a state that is very proud of college football. To have Wayne State and UNK playing one another outside of the conference, I just love seeing that. Love seeing Shadron, who will be playing those teams down the road. You know, it was terrible years ago when Nebraska Omaha lost their program. It kind of hurt my heart a little bit being from the state of Nebraska to see that. But it's D2 stuff, so I'm back to being Brick Tamlin.
You know what, though? I talk about this game, and these are two teams that should be playing each other.
Yeah.
It just makes sense inside of that state. And you look at the rushing attack. Last year, I don't know if you saw that matchup last year. Two names that you need to know going into this matchup. Let's start on the Wayne State side of the ball. Dawson Forgy, he's got to have a day. This is a guy that's going to be a front runner or the player of the year offensively inside of the conference. But his counterpart on the other side of the ball for Kearney and the Lopers, Isaiah Harris, he'd go bar for bar with Dawson over there at Wayne State. They both had breakout performances last year. I would expect they probably go back to that this year. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. They probably go back to that. I think there's a lot of things to be excited about for both of those squads, but the run game is what you absolutely, if you want to watch some in between the tackles football, turn that thing on, man. Absolutely.
I mean, the most physical game of this bunch right here is Michigan Tech and Bemidji State.
Yeah.
You want to watch two teams who are kind of perennial bubble playoff teams. They always seem to somehow find themselves, are they the last team in? Are they one of the first teams out? This game is going to be huge for them because whoever wins this matchup has automatically got the upper hand on that. We know they're going to be on the bubble.
Yep.
So whose bubble's going to pop could be a week one situation here. So I like Tech in that one. I think this Tech squad has got a chance to make some noise.
Huskies out there. Good little shout for the Huskies. I know Coach
Houghton.
Metlack and the boys appreciate that one, Mike. We'll continue moving forward, though, after a quick word from the sponsor of that Off the Beaten Path segment, which was phenomenal after we got things wrangled over here. Which, shout out, by the way, do you see this sunlight and this incredible weather that we are privileged with now?
Thank God.
This is a
You
joke.
would never have guessed
This
what was
is a
going on.
joke.
If you just tuned in right now, you'd think, what's going on with these guys? Why are they all flabbergasted?
We need a before and after of that tornado that almost took not only Seth's wonderful hat, but his entire body off of the set, and then cut now, and it's freaking, it's just, singing birds in the background here. But our sponsor, Redline Sports, a huge thank you to them and what they contribute to the Butte community.
Redline Sports, family owned and operated for 37 years. Our knowledgeable, friendly sales and service teams have you covered with a full lineup of Honda and Polaris side-by-sides, snowmobiles, and on and off-road motorcycles. Redline Sports, Southwest Montana's power sport headquarters. Get out and ride.
A huge thank you to Redline Sports for helping partner with us and bring some great energy to Montana Tech here. Guys, it's time to talk about some of the difference makers in today's matchup. These hosts now, we're going to go around and highlight some of the guys that we believe will have the biggest impact on the game today. And of course, Seth, why not? Let's start it with you, my friend.
One thing we started to do before these shows is do a little production meeting with the head coaches and really feature some of these guys that we think are going to be dudes. And I talk about Jalen Perkins. He's a transfer from Olivet Nazarene. He's a 6'2 transfer. Now, he played hybrid, kind of a linebacker position up there at Olivet Nazarene, and had a game-stealing interception at Taylor a year ago. But now, Coach Sampson says he's going to be our dude in the secondary. So I'm looking forward to watching him here in about an hour and a half or so. And fellas, he's 26 years old, still playing college football. So
wow,
he's a vet. He's a little old, but guess what? He's going to bring the juice, and he's going to give these guys a spark today.
Still bringing the juice, the big 2-6. You would know a little something about that.
I did play college football for 6 years, so I do know a little something about that. But so did Caleb Blaha, bringing in River Falls a little bit, as we should.
Yes.
He was 26 years old and won the Glardy Trophy. If you haven't heard about Caleb Blaha, I'll shut up and move along here.
Let's talk about the true leader of this Ottawa, Arizona defense. Justice Sosnicki is a guy that I think really on the field and off of it, he has demonstrated all the capabilities of being a stalwart leader for that side of the ball for this Spirit team. And I know he's one of Coach's best friends. When I talked with Justice, he told me that it's the little things in this program that they believe will help take them to the next level. One of those little things, if anyone inside of that program swears, drop down, give me 5 push-ups right away. I think a couple of us, after the events of today, our bench press would go up a little bit after what we have what has transpired here. But
I would have done an entire hit workout after that, to say the least.
He told me, and we laughed about it, but he told me, Kobe, this is one of the small things that we really believe is going to give us the edge. We really are paying attention to the small details. Defensively, they have so much swagger and confidence. And again, when I keep quoting him, but this is exactly what he told me. He said, we're going to come in there, we're going to quiet that place. And if you guys can see what's going on behind me, it's going to take a Herculean effort to quiet these stands. This defense I can speak for, especially when Justice is leading it. He's ready to come in and do that. This is the last year of college ball for the grad student. He's going to lay it all on the line. I expect him and that defense to set the tone early. I hope the emotions maybe don't get the best of them in the first couple of series. I expect they will be flying around at a clip maybe unprecedented for this Spirit defense.
You know, when you talk a little bit about Justice there and the Ottawa, Arizona defense, you know, they blew through the Senior Athletic Conference last year, but one thing they did not do is compete very well against top competition. They gave up 325 yards to Texas Wesleyan before the nightmare of a game they had against LCU. Yeah. So the defense of Ottawa, Arizona has really got to step it up. When we switch things over to when you look at the guys that I think are going to be the key contributors in this football game, it comes down to the offensive line of Ottawa, Arizona. And two names that you need to know about, Xander Flowers and Mason Barba. These are the two returning offensive linemen that were starters last year. This offensive line has got to be able to get a push against Montana Tech. They've got to be able to try to successfully run the football against Tech's defense if they're going to get in this ball game early and establish any sort of physicality against the Orediggers. So watch that offensive line for Ottawa, Arizona, if they're going to get a chance to control any sort of the momentum in this game.
Xander said the physicality of that group in that front five, even though like you said, he's only the one returner on that front five, that offensive line. He told me the physicality of this team is, and what's he going to tell me, right? But he told me the physicality of that group and that unit is something that he has not seen before from this team. And talking with Marcus Reese too, the wide receiver, he told me, man, we have weapons in every position, and he made sure to say that means in the trenches too. They feel very confident about what they have there. They got a big time challenge coming up though in a couple hours here.
You can figure out a lot about a team based on their starting center.
I believe he's at the left guard spot. I believe Xander is now at the left guard spot.
To left guard this year. Yes, he was starting center last year.
That's the big thing about playing center is sometimes you have to move in that interior offensive line.
Yep.
I wonder who is going to be suiting up at center for the.
He had told me, and it's escaping me now, but that was a big time move. That's a very notable move, and it's going to have to reshape how that offense operates. Especially, we didn't really talk about the quarterback situation much, right? And that's something that you touch on it a little bit, but the quarterback has kind of been a question mark. I think we're to the point in the game now where it's getting close enough. Luke, their guy from last year, he didn't make the trip. This is not a guy who's going to suit up for them today. And of course, we were kind of withholding that in good faith with coach and talking with him. We weren't going to lead the show with that, but we're to the point now that it's not going to matter. These teams are here. Their quarterback, their starter from a year ago, who had a bad injury he sustained at the end of last season for Ottawa, he is trying to make it back this year, and coach sounds semi-optimistic about that happening, but he told us that Luke is not going to be suiting up today. He did not make the trip for the Spirit, and so there's going to be some question marks at that quarterback position. You got to hope in another situation, maybe there's some veteran experience on that offensive line. They're figuring a lot out on that side of the ball, all that to say.
I think at the quarterback position for the Spirit, they've got two guys there coming in that I think you're going to see get snaps today. You've got a guy that's going to be a transfer coming in that has had some snaps in college before in Ike and Duganway. And then you've also got Rocco Koch back there as well. Those two guys could potentially have a breakout game here today, but they've got a tremendous atmosphere to come into to try to get your first start under your wings for the Spirit.
They certainly do. Flip it over, Mike. Who do you got for us talking about on Montana Tech side?
Yeah, I want to talk about the guy that's going to be chasing that quarterback, whoever it is in the game at that time for Ottawa, and that's Cole Graham. And this guy's a definition of a difference maker. He comes in as a freshman, starts making a difference right away. First team all Frontier for conference, and he missed a good chunk of the season with a really bad hand injury. In and out of the lineup, tried to play through it, missed some games, still made all conference. That's the kind of difference this guy makes when he's in there. Now he's fully healthy. Coach told us he's 100% a go. If he's in there chasing down the Ottawa quarterback, they got some serious problems. Cole Graham is a difference maker. He's a sophomore now. Man, in 2 years, the projection on this guy, scary stuff.
Yeah, that defensive front for Montana, I think, has been talked about a lot, deservedly so. What do you expect from them today?
I think that front four is really going to get a good push on Ottawa, Arizona, and then it's the guys behind them that you got to keep an eye out on, especially Kellen Beller. Here's a kid that's a physical football player, maybe a little bit physically undersized, but he's a smart kid back there. He's the type of kid that's basically the quarterback of your defense. 4.0 mechanical engineering major, much smarter than me. I can't spell those words. I'm a little bit like Coach Green in that regard. But 34 tackles last year, a couple of them as a tackle for loss. I think you're going to see Beller as a guy that's going to help lead this defense, along with what you've talked about on that defensive line.
Absolutely, man. We're going to get to a break here shortly, but I want to take this chance to shout out our app. All right, we're going to have to run some promos on this show. If we're not going to talk about our app, then man, who the hell is? Small School HQ is your one home for all small school football. You get onto the app, you have the opportunity to favorite all of your favorite teams in the entire country, whether that's Ottawa, Arizona, or Montana Tech, or maybe it's someone across the country. You get live custom notifications on those teams, live scores inside of the app's top 25 rankings, statistics from across the country. There's an interactive map. This app is built around discovering new small school football teams and building the small school football community. And they're pumped up about it. I mean, these people are juiced about Small School HQ here in Butte.
I think that's exactly what they were. That's exactly what they were shouting out.
All of that to say, the QR code there is for the App Store on Apple. Go ahead and scan that, download it. Also available on Google Play. I would please implore you, go download it. We are making this with the people, and that's what makes it so special. Working with these athletes, these SIDs, these people in the community to add different features and things. That's what made it has really made it awesome. I know you guys have gotten a kick out of it.
Well, Kobe, yeah, I want to shout you out for this because as much as you're shouting out the program as in general for making this, dude, I watched you build this thing side by side, and shout out to you, man. Like, it takes a lot to do something like that. It's insane. And it is you need to check this thing out. I use the app personally. It is a great app, and
shout out.
Please download it, follow along. I'm excited to see. Please try to crash those servers today as you are on there today. It certainly might happen, but we already upped that thing as soon as you guys logged on the first time. So
yeah.
Hopefully not actually, but we'll see. We'll see.
If the crash is not nearly as bad as our setup today, I think we'll be doing just fine.
That was a crash.
We are going to get to a break. On the other side of this break, we have game picks. Finally now, we'll pick 9 games across the NAIA and Division II landscape. And stick around for after game picks. The Digger Walk will be taking place right here as the team from Montana Tech walks through the tailgate. It will be phenomenal, and I am so looking forward to that. We're going to try and get you a camera directly inside of it as Coach Sampson and his son and his friends lead the Diggers out onto this field and for an incredible matchup. But stick around, all of that on the other side of the break. That is the look right there at one of the best traditions in Montana Tech football. The M on that hill, boys, is one that they light up when they win games. And this guy is usually here to accompany it. We got the Orediggers mascot. I believe it's Charlie. There it is! Showing out today. This is exactly behind Charlie here. The Orediggers will make their digger walk. And you can give me just a yes or a no nod. Will you be leading them on that walk?
Oh, he's a rookie.
I'm not sure Mr. Charlie Ordigger knows much of anything at this
He's got.
point,
You know
as
what
what's
though?
happening.
He's bringing good vibes. Good
We
energy.
love this.
We saw you take about 3 selfies on the way over here. Yes, he is. And you know what? Mascots on live, anything is always hilarious. But we appreciate your service to this crew today.
Do you have an Instagram? Do you have an Instagram that we can follow you at?
It's his first day on the first game, new school year.
Well, we've asked all the right questions.
Yeah, he's got to go back to his boss with this.
We appreciate you, Mr. Charlie.
Charlie's knocking off the rust. We appreciate you. We'll be seeing a lot of you tonight, Mr. Charlie. Thank you, good man. That is
Charlie Order.
That is incredible. Charlie, thanks for stopping by the set. Anything mascot live, like that's just phenomenal content right there. But now it is time to go ahead and make some game picks. And I believe we are supposed to be having a little someone come and join us for those game picks.
Yes.
That may or may not be happening, I do believe.
I hope he didn't get swept away in the storm.
He's probably trying to get Charlie to figure out, what do you say here? Do you
Charlie
have a
doesn't even
name?
know
Do you have
who
an
he is.
Instagram?
Charlie has a lot of things going on.
gotta
We're gonna let him figure out some of those things. We're gonna take a very quick break so I can see if we can wrangle our guest. And on the other side, I promise you, we will have some game picks here for small school football. We are back here in Butte, America, ahead of a fantastic matchup. We got Ottawa, Arizona. Montana Tech fellas kicking off at 6 o'clock Mountain Time. But it's time now to get to the game picks finally. And joining us here for the game picks, none other than the athletic director himself, Matt Steppen from Montana Tech.
Look at this.
This guy is the man.
Honcho.
Thank you, man. Take a seat right here. We'll get you sorted. First of all, thank you so much for getting us out here and helping to make this possible. And second of all, how about coming on to make some picks, man? You ready to go? We'll get the headset on you, get you rolling. There. Oh, yeah, pro.
We did it. We
Pro.
got it.
Absolute pro. Thank you so much for joining us, man. This has been eventful. Sorry about the TV.
Hey, this is great. Oh, did we lose the TV already?
TV was
Storm cell
that
took it out.
storm was, I don't know where were you at when that wind came through, actually?
I was setting up a ticket booth and then pretty quickly headed up to the to the hyper, as the administrator,
Yes,
you got lightning delays. You got to get with the head coaches, get with the white hat.
You're doing your thing. And you still made time for a little old us over
as
here.
Coach Green would say, you improvise, adjust, adapt, and overcome, right? So here we are.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, we're here. We've made it. It's time now, gentlemen, to get into some game picks. We're going to start things off in the Division II realm, a team and a game that we talked about a little bit. Central Missouri going on the road to CSU Pueblo. The Thunderwolves, they're kind of national favorites, especially inside of the RMAC. Coach Vigil and company looking for their third consecutive RMAC title. The Mules, though, boast one of the most exciting offenses, I think, in D2 football when it comes to system. Mike, for all the picks tonight, I think you're leading us off. You just tell me which way you're leaning, my friend, and we'll go from there.
Right. This is a really good game, and I think, what it comes down to is when you look at last year's matchup here, CSU Pueblo went on the road, and they won this game by 5 points.
Yeah.
Now, coming back home, same matchup, the idea that somehow they're going to, win this on the road and come back and lay an egg, and I'm not seeing it here. I'm going with CSU Pueblo.
I like that pick, Mike, because I'm thinking very, very similarly to you. Having the chance to talk with Coach Vigil, there is so much to love about the CSUP team, and I was watching our good friends over at D2Football.com. They gave a lot of bulletin board material to this Thunderwolf squad. They were very high on the Mules. I'm here to tell you, Coach Vigil and company, you still got some guys over here that believe in you and this team. I think right now, this is a team that you look at the RMAC as a whole. This is the only team in recent history that has gone outright and won the whole thing. Mines has made some really great runs at it in previous years. Pueblo has a chance to be a national championship contender team in 2026. I feel strongly about it. I couldn't say that and then take the Mules, man.
Well, I'm going to take the Mules.
There it is.
I like the upset special here. I can't say I know a whole lot about either one of these teams, being an NAIA guy, but a previous defensive coordinator for us, BJ Campbell, left here to go be D coordinator for Central Missouri. He is no longer there, but I know that he would have established the type of culture that make them tough for years to come, and I'm taking the Mules.
Lasting impact. Seth, what do you got?
I just think the biggest thing for me is they really have to prove something to me. For UCM, has to prove something to me that they are back where they were when Zabrowski was there.
Yeah,
I don't see them being able to keep up with CSU Pueblo. I think there's too big of a gap there. Give me the win, give me the cover.
In 2003, there was a gritty defensive end
boy.
playing for Montana Tech who ended up becoming a fourth-team All-American from the Victory Sports Network.
Hey,
it was that
shout
guy.
out.
I trust his judgment.
I didn't know we were
Central
going with
Missouri.
that. Segway Central. Okay,
'Cause
Central.
I'm an NAI guy, too. I got no clue, man.
How many people right now
together.
do you think are Googling fourth team All-American?
I was about to say.
I didn't know there was a fourth team All-American.
There was from the Victory Sports Network.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
The third team is the furthest that I've seen. That's phenomenal. That means you do your homework, man. That's incredible. The next game we've got up on the slate, Minnesota Duluth going on the road to the Rock, that being Slippery Rock in Pennsylvania, a top 25 matchup no matter how you look at it. Mike, start us off.
This is a really tough road trip for UMD, but they have veterans all over the field. They return a ton of production, and I think the sky is the limit for this UMD team. Not only do I think they're going to win today's game, I'm taking UMD. I think there's a lot of teams down the road they can beat. Mankato,
Whoa, wait a minute.
This is a really, really
we
good
haven't
team.
seen one snap of Bulldog football in
I'm all in.
2026.
I'm all in.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
Bulldogs.
I like the Bulldogs a lot, too. And you talk about what Eggert brings to the table from an offensive standpoint. Of course, you know the staff over there pretty well. We had a chance to talk with Coach Wiese, and we checked in with them last year. No Wall Jasper, which we've talked about, but no Deneke. That's the piece that I think is the missing piece for this Minnesota Duluth team in an offense that sometimes maybe lacked a little bit of that downfield presence. You miss him, and one of maybe arguably the best tight end in Division II football is no longer on that roster. We had Joe Cooper on the pod from Slippery Rock, an offensive lineman, one of the best in the country. Slippery Rock is an O-line factory. I know we said that's going to be where it's very concerning for them, to having to replicate a lot of that success in the front five. They have the track record to do it. I'm big on the Rock heading into 2026.
Oh, well, I said I didn't know much about the last two teams. I know less about these two. So we're going to coin flip this thing, but I think the favorite's Minnesota Duluth, and so I'm going to roll with the favorite.
Okay, I didn't know if you're going to pull a flipperoo there. Seth?
I think the biggest thing for me is my allegiance to Chase Vogler. Big fan of what he does. I actually think you're going to see this passing attack open up a little bit. Not to say Kyle Wadjasper was not a passing threat, because he absolutely was. He was a Conference Player of the Year caliber player. But I just think what Coach Vogler does, I just think he's going to scheme these guys up. I think up front they're going to be good again. Give me Duluth to cover the spread as well. Actually,
Dang.
yeah.
Hey, Jason, are you going to leave me alone on this? I'm fine doing that, by the way.
When I was on my flight from Chicago to Bozeman to drive into the beautiful city of Butte, America today, I was going through the bios of people just to freshen up my NAIA mind. And I was on the bio of the athletic director for Montana Tech. And you know what's not listed in his accolades?
What's
That he
that?
was a fourth-team All-American for the Victory Sports Network.
I can't believe that didn't make the
I'm
cut.
picking against him, Slippery Rock.
Come on. How does that not make the web release?
Because it was 14.
This was fourth team. Keep it rolling here in D2. Fort Hays State and Angelo State, Mike.
Well, last year Angelo won this game by 3 scores on the road. So if you're going to try to convince me they're going to come back home and somehow, let that type of win, that type of margin just slip out of their fingers, I'm not buying it. I love this Angelo team this year. I'm rolling with Angelo. They're healthy again this year. This team can be at the top of the Lone Star Conference. I believe that. All in on Angelo.
I'm riding with you, Mike. I think Angelo boasts historically one of the best defenses in the Lone Star Conference, and this is where they get, as we turn the speaker down maybe a little bit there, this is where they get back to that. This is the year where they get back to that, and the Rams, they make a big-time push here over a Fort Hays State team that has a lot of question marks. I think they have a lot of potential upside, but upside isn't anything till you go out and do it, Matt.
Yeah, well, we've actually got an NAIA school that we're unfortunately losing to D2 in the North Star Conference in Texas Wesleyan here coming up in the next couple of years.
Great point.
They'll be a great team in that conference. They were on the rise in the NAIA. So best of luck to our friends from Texas Wesleyan. But I'm with you. I'm with Angelo State on this one.
Ooh, it's getting interesting.
I'm simply just going to take Fort Hays because I need a win here, simply put, and I've picked the favorite in every game so far. Nothing else to say about that, truthfully.
I'm out of jokes, so like a 2-trick pony. The best I can do, I'm kind of like Matt here. I think Texas Wesleyan will be a tremendous addition to the Lone Star. I hate to see them leave the NAIA. Fort Hays State, former NAIA program as well. Don't know much about the two
I didn't
teams.
know that.
I'll basically look at this. I'm gonna go Fort Hays because I was at manager meetings this week and I hung out with our guys that were the managers of our Kansas store. So there you go.
We love a good
I
sentimental
love the
pick.
reasoning between you
It's
two.
logical.
Like,
It's logical. I follow.
I love it. It's just like, I saw a Fort Hays State shirt in
I
the
will go
local Goodwill.
for 35 minutes on the NAIA games.
Well, you're in luck, my friend, but we got one more game, and this is the big one, right? Pittsburgh State, Ferris State. Bulldogs have won 30 consecutive games. The last time they lost, that was in 2024 in the jungle at the hands of the Gorillas. Will it be, can Pittsburgh State snap the streak today, or can Ferris right the wrongs and, fight the ghosts of the jungle?
I think Pittsburgh State could do it. I'm not sure they will do it. I'm going to take Ferris State, and here's my reasoning. There's 128 FCS teams. I would take Ferris State over about 80 of them. That's no joke. That's no height. That's
wouldn't disagree.
Exactly. Coach Howard on it. And so if they can beat half of FCS, they can beat Pittsburgh State.
Yeah, you know what?
I wouldn't want to play him, fellas.
I'm not going to belabor my pick on this one, guys. You talk about a Ferris State team, and we mentioned it earlier, whether it's Wyatt Bauer or Carter under center, you got 10 offensive linemen that can play on that side of the ball. Yes, how do you replace and replicate some of the production on the outside? You lose the Swiss Army knife and Brady Rose that we talked with Coach Anise about, and Axe on the outside. But defensively, with guys like Tim Allen back on that side of the ball, other big-time playmakers, this Ferris State team, yes, the talent is incredible, but the depth is what separates these teams, not from anyone else in D2, but from the previous Ferris State teams. It's going to take them a long way this year.
You said you weren't going to belabor it. You belabored it pretty good. But, so I'm not going to belabor it, and this is Ferris State all the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to get cute with this one. Let's say Ferris State didn't have their starting quarterback back. Yeah, maybe. If they didn't have 2 starting quarterbacks back, okay. If they didn't bring back the majority of their offensive line and it's like, okay, fine. But it's too good to be true to pick Pitt State. Give me Ferris State all the way.
Could this be the first clean graphic, the clean sweep?
If there's a time that Ferris State could be ripe for the picking to potentially lose the game, I think it could be this game against Pittsburgh State. You're going on the road, hostile environment. You've got some question marks in the air. I'm still picking Ferris State.
All right.
This is the safest clean sweep we could actually like.
Which is insane because Pittsburgh State is a top 5 team in all all of Division II football with, again, I'm excited about this Pitt State team. I hope we see them, down the road competing for an MIAA championship. I think that's a very realistic expectation for them in 2026. They have a gauntlet to open it up. I think that's all I can say about it.
If you rolled Fair State up against some G6 schools out there, I'm not saying they're going to win it, but it's close.
NAIA, as we get through some of these picks now, Reinhardt and Lindsey Wilson. Start us off, Mike.
Well, I'm rolling with Tate Rice. There's only one Tate Rice. He plays for Lindsey Wilson. They got a huge veteran core coming back around him. I actually think Lindsey Wilson is a big-time sleeper pick this year. I'd love to hear Jason's thoughts on that, but I think they have got a good shot at winning more than just this game.
We'll get to Jason pretty quickly because I'm making this one click. The offensive backfield for Lindsey Wilson. That's what gets it done. Separator. They're explosive back there.
Sorry, I was.
AD, AD's got a job to do, man. AD's got a job.
That's AD duties right there.
Which, by the way, I hope you guys 6:25 kickoff. I don't know if anyone shared with you. So you got some time.
Right. Are we going to prolong till the digger walk?
That lightning delay, so everything's pushed back about 20 minutes.
Okay.
So what you had for the digger walk,
thinking probably closer to 6.
Just about 5 after 6. So we're doing okay.
Okay.
Because now I'm on some teams that I know a little something about.
And
right?
now we got time.
Did you just push that back because we were behind on the picks?
Yeah, I just texted. I said, "Hey guys, listen. You got to flex your muscle when you can, right?" Reinhardt, Lindsey Wilson, 2 young teams in the NAIA, but in a very short period of time have made a lot of noise. And I just think right now Lindsey Wilson's probably a little too much. They started really hot last season. Didn't finish as strong as they probably would have liked to, but I've got Lindsey Wilson in this game.
Such a competitive league, and I know that league very well because of Caleb Carrill and Georgetown College down there. But I'm not gonna entertain 19.5 on a game pick. So give me Lindsey to cover here. Sorry. Give me Lindsey to win. Sorry.
Okay, that's a very different statement.
Yeah,
20 points.
let me relax.
Yes, it is. Let's chill out over there.
The gambler in me was getting a little like, oh, really? You think? You think? Really? No, so Reinhardt, Lindsey Wilson, tremendous matchup. 2 teams formerly in the Mid-South Conference, still keeping the rivalry alive. Reinhardt has got a lot of tremendous players coming back, but they've got some major question marks on offense and on that defensive side of the ball. I think Lindsey Wilson, with Saunders coming back in the backfield, Tate Rice at the quarterback position, some great offensive linemen as well. Lindsey Wilson is... To get to what you were pointing out there earlier, are they a sleeper pick? No, they're a legit NAIA national champion contender this year with what they've got returning. They've got to figure things out on defense. I don't think Reinhardt's offense will be enough for him, so I'm going with the Blue Raiders.
I like that a lot. We move over to our next pick. We've got St. Thomas and Cumberland doing battle, Mike.
Well, another one of those games where you got a home team night game, really a hard place to play.
Yep.
I have a hard time betting against that in week 1. Week 1 to week 2 is always like your biggest jump of the whole season.
Sure.
I think it's a tough environment to go on the road, similar to what we were looking at here today at Montana Tech. So I'm going to roll with Cumberland on this one.
Thank you for keeping that singular and not causing some decisive battles there.
It's a tricky one.
To be honest with you, Mike, I don't know if you can compare anything to this turnout here at Montana Tech. This game has been delayed by half an hour. I don't know if anyone knows or cares. Respectfully, they're here to have a great time and support this Oredigger team, but they're also here to eat some damn good barbecue, have a great time with some folks, and show out in the Alumni Coliseum later tonight.
We got some signs being made
Yes,
now. Obviously, we had some weather situation that prolonged that, but now we got some wonderful sign action going on.
We finally do, and we tried to get some signs out for the great people here at Montana Tech, and you can see. Let me see if I can't get the camera on it right here.
I don't know if you want to.
There it is. There's a couple of it. There's a couple of it. Yeah, we'll keep it over here for a little bit. We'll keep it over here for a little bit. But we appreciate Park Street Printing for giving us those signs. Hopefully they are used responsibly by the great people here of Montana Tech. But
this individual over here did not quite do that. However, that's all right.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
There's a passion behind rivalries.
We're not going to show it. But I like how the degrading comment isn't even about the team that they're playing. It's about a rival school that we won't name.
That rivalry runs deep. That's when you know that it's deep. It's in the blood of these people.
It certainly does. And to go off of all of that, yes, the home team advantage, especially in a week 0 type of matchup, is a very big one. I can't go against Coach Davis over there in this St. Thomas squad. I think they have enough to get it done on the road. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. You just look at what that team looks like, even without a guy like Farmer in the backfield or some of the big time names that we've come to associate with St. Thomas. I think they have the pedigree for me, and there's something about those upstart teams in Florida. It's a hotbed for small school football, and there's not at the NAIA level. Thankfully, Sun Conference, I think there's some good things going on. But otherwise, in small school football, you're either going D1 or you're kind of going NAIA if you're staying in the state of Florida, right?
Yep.
So they have a great hotbed for recruiting. I think that this team has established themselves now. They've earned my trust.
You know, they're both teams are really good teams, and you talked about the Florida team. St. Thomas is one that Montana's familiar with. They've been up in our area twice in the last couple years. Came up short both times to that team on the sign from 60 miles north that will be, which will remain nameless.
There we go.
Well, when you start thinking about the team, it just gets you so scrambled, right?
Yeah, I can just see he's got flames coming out of this.
But I'll tell you this: I was on the phone with Cumberland, the AD this morning, Chris Kraftic, one of the top guys in the NAIA, a good friend of mine in this business, and anything that he's in charge of, I'm pulling for. So I'm going to take Cumberland.
Now we got the Cumberland pick here from Matt, and I want to go and actually show off these guys who had a couple of our signs. I think I got them over behind the set now. Yes, we do. Okay, back up a little bit for us, fellas. There we go.
Not that one.
There we go. There's a couple there, but you can't read them, thankfully, as much from the sky cam. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for doing that and rolling with us here from Montana Tech. Shout out to Park Street Printing for the incredible signs as people continue to make those. We're trying to bring the college game day atmosphere to small schools like this one across the country in 2026, and we're getting started in the right way with this matchup. Seth, get back to the game picks here, though.
No, I'm not really going to get cute with this one. NAIA is certainly my third language on this show, so I'm not going to get cute. Going to take St. Thomas all the way.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that because D2 is about my third language here in the NAIA. I'll get cute with this one.
Good.
You know, this
Please
is
do.
a Cumberland football team that had a tremendous season last year. They're dangerous at home, and they're a physical football team. I think a lot of people would probably look at the ratings, returning starters, Drew Davis debuting as a head coach at St. Thomas University, and lean towards the Bobcats on this one. But I ultimately feel like Cumberland at home there, the Phoenix have got an opportunity for an upset here. And earlier this week when I wrote my article on the Victory Sports Network previewing this game, I picked St. Thomas to win this game. Tonight, as I've looked at it more, I'm going to go with Cumberland for the upset.
Flipper.
I think the Phoenix have got an opportunity, can start their season off right and push themselves potentially in the Mid-South Conference for that auto bid, or even as an at-large for the Mid-South Conference.
I love that. I like that pick. It's a very split graphic there from us. I appreciate that.
It's really what we need more of.
We
just
might have to get
have
Gavin
credibility.
involved on one of these picks here eventually because we don't have the tiebreaker and like the 2x2 anymore. So get ready over there. He might audible to you with the pick. Maybe we'll do you for the finals. Maybe we'll get to you for the finals, say on Montana Tech and the Spirit. But before we get there, all right, hopefully now we are back, joined by all of you. We apologize. We think potentially, allegedly, Tailgater may have kicked power cord.
Actually, what I'm going to chalk it up to is there was an individual from Carroll College that came down.
Yes, he did.
I saw him. He did the old Forrest Gump movie where he pulled the cables out. I said, enough of this!
Oh my gosh, that is incredible. We are back, though, with the game picks here live from Butte, Montana. For those of us just joining us ahead of a big-time matchup here with Montana Tech and the Ottawa Spirit. Thankfully, boys, we are back. Take a look at this. I keep showing it. I can't get over it. The amount of people here in this tailgate at this setup is fantastic. Looks like we have some more signs potentially being made behind us here. Yep. Got some more signs being made. We'll see if those make their way out behind the set. But, guys, we're back in the game picks. We've got Taylor and Olivet Nazarene. Mike, we're going right back to you. Today has been filled with adversity. We've responded pretty damn well, boys.
I would say.
And speaking of teams that respond well to adversity, Taylor did not do that last year. They dominated this exact matchup for 32 minutes of gameplay. They're up 35-14 in that third quarter, and they just let it just slip right through their fingers. You just can't do that, all right? This matchup has been an overtime game the last 2 years in a row, so if there's ever going to be a split graphic, it should be this one. I'm rolling with Taylor to avenge last year's loss.
Remind me of that quarterback's name from ONU.
Christian Dureed.
Yeah, that's all I need to know. Give me Olivet Nazarene. Believe Coach Mitchell is over there as
Mitchell,
well.
yeah, he was at Lawrence Tech, and then he came to Olivet
Coach
Nazarene.
Mitchell recruited me to Lawrence Tech. I have a lot of respect for him. I like the way that he operates, but I love what his quarterback under center rather is doing for that squad.
I'm going to go Olivet Nazarene as well. We were just out there playing volleyball 2 weeks ago, and they got us in their gym. We got a kid on our team. I know you talked about it earlier by the name of Jalen Perkins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who we're super excited about having here. He came from Olivet Nazarene. That's where he last played. Outstanding young man, outstanding football player. Really excited to have him at Montana Tech. I'm going to take Olivet.
That's exactly where I was about to take this. Is the man?
Oh, we got a Jabo signing real quick. Wait a minute.
Oh,
Hey,
no.
bring it back. Wait, I think Jabo has a pick. Bring
Might
it
have
back.
something to say.
Wait, I think he has a pick. It's not on the graphic.
Okay, remind me who we're talking about. I'm locking on
Oh, he's out of
Listen,
it.
when cameras get unplugged, I gotta fix it. Hey, dude, it's madness back here.
Taylor and Olivet Nazarene, my brother.
Taylor.
All right.
Picking the underdog.
Good
Picking
choice.
the underdog.
He
But
knows ball. He knows
I
ball.
appreciate your service in setting that up, Jabo. Thank you, dude.
we talk about Jalen Perkins. A year ago, he actually had the game-winning interception for Olivet Nazarene, which is exactly why I'm going to pick Taylor.
Okay.
Because
My man, this guy stinks.
because without Jalen Perkins, they don't win that game.
He gone.
He's gone. He's here.
gone.
He's going to be playing out here, Bob Greenfield.
I can't wait
here
to watch
shortly.
him.
So that's my situation.
This is the fun part about having 5 people pick, because now you get to be the differentiator, right?
I'm going Olivet
All right,
Nazarene
that was
in
quick.
this game. I think their offense is a little bit further along than Taylor. I like what Taylor's got back on offense, returning All-American on the offensive line. You've got Nathan Parker in the backfield there. Taylor's got a really nice ball club. I just think Olivet Nazarene's going to look at last year, that season, how things kind of went for them, and they're going to be hungry this year, and they're going to start this one off 1-0 against the Trojans.
I could certainly see that. Sorry, I had a piece of content that just played there on accident, but I like those picks from you. We're going to move on now. This is a big one, Mike. I think that's a very light way of saying it. Dort and Indiana Wesleyan, potentially the best game of the week, if it weren't for the Orediggers also playing this week.
Of course.
Big time game. We've talked with both quarterbacks on the program. Big fan of both of them and the way both these teams operate. Mike, you're going to start us off per usual, buddy.
Well, I'm going to carry off some of my thought logic, from my Cumberland pick into this pick. Home team, night game, tough place to play. They scored 49 points per game last year here. I'm talking about Indiana Wesleyan. That's a lot of points to keep up with. I'm not sure Dort can do it this year. I'm going to go Indiana Wesleyan in a really close game. This is like a 2-3 point game, maybe a last-second field goal.
I won't lie to you, Mike. I like this Dort team a lot. I think what they did inside of the GPAC last year, clinching a share of that conference, was fantastic. I have a lot of respect for that squad and Fadden and all those guys on that side. With that being said, Indiana Wesleyan, I think that stadium, I think that place has come to realize with a young program that they have something very, very special with that group and with that team. And with Arj under center and with that front 5 that I'm sure Jason will probably talk about here shortly, there is, I'm not going to say nothing, but next to nothing that I believe will stop this Wildcat team. I'm taking Indiana Wesleyan, and I'm taking them by 2 scores.
Whoa! Whoa!
That's bold.
I gotta have like at least one show where I'm like, I'm going to stand on this.
I like it. 2 outstanding football teams. This year, I have the good fortune and opportunity to be on the NAIA football selection committee.
Yes.
So I'll be watching a lot of these teams week in and week out, and I can guarantee you at the end of the year, these are 2 teams that we're going to be talking about.
Yes, sir.
When you talk about overcoming adversity, Dort in the postseason last year and what they went through, there's no way that they're not ready to come out and play this season. I'm going to take Dort.
I was waiting for the official pick there at the end. I didn't know if you were going to pull a switch at the end there, but I like it. I like the confidence.
This is tough because I think Indiana Wesleyan is absolutely phenomenal, especially what they do at the quarterback position. That passing attack is unbelievable. But on the other side of the thing, we got a former left hash called Guest, so that is part of my pick here. And also, they are going to control the clock. They are going to run the football, and I think it's going to be hard to run the football on them as well. Now, what will Indiana Wesleyan do on the passing attack? I'm just going to take Dort because of Levi Jungling. I think he's an absolute stud.
I totally respect Dort. They are a football program that has they have risen to the occasion in NAI football. When they started, they were a doormat. They have built themselves into an annual winner in the Great Plains Athletic Conference. I think Noah Strickfadden and what he's doing at the quarterback position for the Defenders this year will ultimately get them back into the postseason. I say all that to say, Marion, Indiana.
We should, if you're going to unmute our microphones.
We are good. We've been unmuted this whole time.
Oh, I can't hear anything. That's on me. I'll figure that out. But we should be live once again here from Butte, Montana. My headset is not working. There we are, officially back now. And man, when I tell you that we have absolutely run the gauntlet when it comes to if anything can go wrong, then it absolutely will go wrong. I think that is absolutely today the way that you can chalk up today for this crew, but I'm excited and proud for us that we are still going through with it. And I'm also stalling, as you can tell, as I continue to talk, because I do need to start up our game picks kind of input here once again. So as I load that, we're getting ready for our final game pick, gentlemen. I don't know if you realize that. We are very close now to doing our final game picks and talking about these teams that we are on site to cover. So as I load up these game picks,
maybe Kobe, as you're doing that,
there
if
we are. We're ready to go.
I would just like to thank you guys for making the trip out to Butte, America, coming out here for the Copper game. It's been electric around here with the buzz of you guys coming up. And, I know we ran into some challenges. That's going to happen. But you guys have knocked it out of the park at Montana Tech and at Butte, Montana. I'm glad you got some pork chops. I didn't want to interrupt the other day, but I brought you some little pasties over there. I think they're still sitting on the corner. In that styrofoam.
I know something about those being in Northern Michigan, Marquette.
There you go. So make sure you indulge. And I can't wait to have you guys on the sideline for kickoff of the Copper game.
And where else would you rather be, Coach?
That's right. Where else would you rather be
than Butte, America?
So for the record, Jason, if we're closing this off, you took Indiana Wesleyan by 3 scores. Madman.
Correct. 42-21. That's what I'm going with.
There it is right there. That's the pick. And now when we get into our last game here, Montana Tech and Ottawa, Arizona, there is one thing we have to do, gentlemen, and that is hear from the players on both teams before the final pick and, of course, the Digger Walk here at Montana Tech.
We couldn't have got a better game, ahead of us. Week 0, Coach Murphy really did his thing with getting that game for us. So, like I said, I'm just excited.
It's the reason they 5th in the nation. So we know that, but at the same time, we just got to do what we do our jobs, read our keys, and don't get into playing their game rather than playing our game.
Playing a new team that we haven't played is always something that's exciting, and they've got some returners coming back on defense, and we don't have to get too crazy with our scheme, just keeping it simple and doing what we know how to do, and just going out there, doesn't matter what they throw it as, and just executing.
Every year for the first game of the season, things come out a little bit differently. You can never put too much stock in last year's stuff and last year's tape, so we're just really focused on our operation and how we're going to go play on next Thursday night.
We're ready for screaming, shouting. We're just trying to stay and do what we can. That's what we plan to do. Come and take their energy. Yeah, take the energy up.
Definitely super talented on that side of the ball. They run a couple different schemes that we're planning for, and that they've ran all last year. So, we got to be ready for it.
They got good athletes on their team. We're not overlooking any opponent, but we're ready to go after it, give them a game. I think it's going to go a lot different than what a lot of people think.
They're a good team. We ready to play. No pressure, no diamonds.
As you heard it from Corey right there, man, no pressure, no diamonds. This Ottawa team knows exactly what they have in store when it comes to playing at Montana Tech today. It's a big-time challenge. And for both of these programs, and I love hearing the confidence from that Ottawa side, it's Montana Tech side. They know they got a good thing going as well. Mike, you're kicking it off for the final pick here, a small school Saturday, the home site.
That's right. Well, I love an underdog. Especially love an underdog who is confident, got a lot of swagger. Man, this Ottawa team has a lot of swagger. They are confident they can come in here and knock these guys off. Underappreciated, left out of the tournament. They just feel like they're just a team that doesn't get any respect. And I want to respect them. It just cannot be tonight. I think Tech rolls this game if it was played in Arizona, in Mexico, wherever. Tech by 40.
You know what? Wow. We're talking about belaboring the point here. Give me Montana Tech in a big way. This is a program that is really on the verge of something great. They're going to have a real shot at finishing the mission in 2026 for all the goals that they went out and set this offseason and this preseason. This team's playing complimentary football. They got a young quarterback in Jarrett who has the opportunity to take a massive step in year 2 of this system, and he's complemented by some dangerous people on that side of the ball. Defensively, they said they want other teams to be so scared of what they put on film they don't want to lace them up. tonight starts that. Tonight is what they put on film, and I am juiced up to watch these guys play.
Yeah,
this would be interesting if you didn't.
you know,
My mouse is hovering.
what I can tell you, no question.
We're good.
Check. Yep. All right, guys, I believe we are finally back, and then this is really, guys, you can't make it up any crazier than this. I think we should get that thing ready to go because the Digger Walk is going to be happening very shortly here right behind us as we take a look at Montana Tech, the incredible tailgate atmosphere here in Butte, Montana, as they call it. Butte, America. You can see some of the helmets, the shiny helmets here that are going to be making their way through the tailgate shortly, gentlemen. I mean, how excited are we for this thing to kick off and to see this thing in person, Seth?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, big shout out to Montana Tech for having us. This has been everything and more. Obviously, we've had a couple of hiccups here, but no, to say the least, I'm so grateful for being here and thankful to these guys, thankful to you guys for being here and weathering the storm per se.
Literally.
And, it's going to be a fun day, no matter what, no matter how you shake it out. It's been awesome. And I'm excited to get this thing rolling. I'm excited to get this ball kicked off. And here we go. Here we go for
Here they come.
We absolutely do. We're taking it live now. This is the Digger Walk at Montana Tech as the team led by Coach Sampson and his son make their way onto the field here at Bob Green Field. There's so much to be excited about. Look at this team coming through the tailgate.
How cool
This is the Orediggers at Montana Tech making their way through behind the desk here. Small School Saturday.
Oh my goodness. Oh my absolute goodness.
This place is special, man.
Look at this, dude.
There we go. There it is. The Diggers taking the field.
This is unbelievable.
Coliseum. The energy here is fantastic.
Holy moly. This is as good as it gets.
Check out the scene here in Butte, America as the Orediggers take the field against Ottawa, Arizona. A game that has been delayed but will not be denied.
I mean, fellas, college football is absolutely back. I see tears going down some coaches' faces. Gets me emotional because I know exactly what it's like to be in that position. You work so hard all year long to get to this point, and man, we're close. It's almost time, fellas.
This is phenomenal. Some of the best energy we've had the chance to be around as fans and people who cover small school football. Look at this place.
I mean, this is just representative of what NAIA football, small college football, D2 football, D3 football can really be. When you get out to these small communities that absolutely are passionate, that they're after football each and every week, that they're hungry, that they've got a desire to be here, this is what you see when you come to these small communities across the country and get to experience small school football. And tonight, it's one of the best atmospheres in NAIA football at Montana Tech in Butte, America.
Jason cutting a promo for us here today. What
I
an
think
unbelievable
we should
day.
probably finish our game picks. I know we took Montana Tech. I think we know where Matt was probably leaning. I'm going to go ahead and make his pick for him.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. We got in here last night and spent a little time here at the historic Uptown District and spent a little time at Sean O'Malley's Irish Pub, American Grill, and got myself a chicken pot pie. I followed up with some bread pudding. And I thought to myself, Butte doesn't do anything half-assed. But then I started thinking about Ottawa. I think they went 8-1, fellas, a season ago with a first-year head coach. He got there in May, and they have absolutely nothing to lose here, fellas. But then I thought about a Bob Green quote. I thought about these guys could take on hell with a squirt gun, so give me Montana Tech to win by 1,000 points today, fellas.
You know, my hat goes off to the athletic director, Matt, who we just had up here with us from Montana Tech, for helping to create a small school atmosphere like this. And it's not just him, it's the entire athletic department. My hat goes off to Kevin Steele, the athletic director at Ottawa University of Arizona, working with his head coach, Riley Murphy, to say, hey, we need to get a big game on our schedule. Let's go find it. Let's go to Butte and play Montana Tech. And my hat goes off